We can't talk about it on the pod, but turn the camera off.
I've been known every now and then to try to take my nuts out on stage and see if people...
I had passed out, right? It already sounds bad. It sounds like I shit the bed.
And he had poop around his neck and under his ears. Brother, you got brothers and sisters? You teased him out of reading?
Yeah, we're like, why you reading, nerd?
This dude, it hit a ball 380 yards out of my asshole.
Hey, man, you're crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
I'm rubbing my nipples and we're hanging out.
I think we've identified you like some weird shit.
The first time Jacob peed in my face, it was so funny. I mean, I've paid for that before, but...
You know, I like go stiff and down to the ground, and he's like, night, motherfucker.
In the front row, I go, but are you wearing underwear? So I reached down and I grabbed the kilt. I lifted up the kilt. And it was a...
Before we hop into the episode, we have to talk about the strongest, most advanced, dependable, hardest working truck on the planet, the Chevy Silverado. Football season is in full swing and it's time to up your tailgating game. The available multi-flex tailgate with 6 convenient configurations will always give you a step up on the competition. There's a primary tailgate which opens up with a push of a button on the key fob or from the inside of your truck. The inner gate folds down into a large step for easily getting in and out of the bed. How great does that sound?
You're killing it right now.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta play along with me.
Oh, yeah. Sounds amazing.
Listen to this, though, dude. There's an easy access configuration where the inner gate folds down, allowing you to reach farther into your bed. It can also become a desk or a surface for your tailgating meal. So you could even do a little stand-up bed with the tailgate down, set it up, get your bed. I don't know.
So it's a truck and a desk?
Yes.
I mean, who'd have thought?
It just looks back.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought? The Chevy Silverado is modern, advanced with a ton of grit, a partner in getting things done. And it is, again, the greatest truck on the planet. And just like you guys, reliable, hardworking, gritty.
It's a good-looking truck, by the way.
Dude, it really is.
Dude,
you saw me pull in.
100%.
You saw that bad boy pull in.
Yeah.
But go to a local dealership near you. Let them know that the boys sent you. Shout out the boys again at Chevy Silverado. Big hug. Oh, man, I almost did a sign-off. Big hugs, tiny kisses. I just forget we're just doing an ad read. But let's get back to the episode. He said, well, hold on. Welcome to Bussin' with the Boys. Welcome, Bussin' with the Boys. I am your host, Will Compton. My co-host today, Josh Wolf. Everybody, welcome Josh Wolf to the buzz, baby.
What's up?
Second time on the buzz.
That's right. New location?
Yeah, dude. What do you think?
This is a step up, man.
Right?
This is nice. And that thing over there, that other trailer?
The Airstream that we have?
Airstream?
We don't know what we're doing with it yet, but we'll get something going.
Yeah.
I was stoked for you to ask what's the address because I couldn't wait to give you a new address.
It was, yeah. And by the way, 7 minutes from my house.
Really?
Easy. Boy, did I tell you I'm moving?
No.
Okay.
Where you moving?
So my wife, the one thing that we love about here is everything. The one thing that we hate is the weather. Yo, my wife was like, nobody told us there's only 200 days of sunshine. That 200 days of sunshine is a real, it sneaks up on you. It does. And so my wife she likes the desert. So we're moving to Vegas.
Oh, you're going to Vegas?
Moving to Vegas.
I was thinking you were going to say Arizona or something. You're going to Vegas.
Yeah, I'm not 900 years old. I don't want to move to Arizona. What am I going to do? Go to sleep there? Vegas still has a lot of the stuff that I like to do. You know, I can still work there. I can fly in and out of there. I love to gamble. Are you
good at gambling? What do you like to gamble on?
It completely depends. When I'm high, I like the slots, and when I'm sober, I like craps. Okay. And I like craps because I like the community of craps. I like the screaming and
the energy.
You know, I love the energy. There's always that one asshole that bets with the house.
Yeah.
That dude is the most unpopular. You know what that dude? The dude who bets with the house is the same dude who tells you tomatoes are fruit. Hey, tomatoes a fruit guy. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes tomatoes a fruit guy. Yeah. And nobody likes the dude who bets with the house, you know? But I love craps. And when I was just telling you, when I take mushrooms, I like to play slots because I like the bells and the whistles. And
rubbing your nipples.
I rub my nipples when I'm on shrooms. And
that's not a joke, by the way. I'm not just randomly saying loving rubbing your nipples. He says he likes to rub his nipples.
I do. I do this a little bit when I'm on shrooms. And so not only that, dude, I'm an empty nester. My kids are old. Like the dream, not the dream, but the idea for Beth and I, my wife, is for the next 5 years, every year, we're going to live someplace different. I think Denver's next, although she's not going to like that weather. That's the one I'm picking. And then we're going to find a spot. But like, we've been in LA. We were in LA for 20 years. And I think it's kind of fun to just go live other places. Like, what the fuck? Why not?
That is true.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can do my job anywhere. And so why not go see and do things that I haven't seen and done? So that's we're gonna head to Vegas.
So are you keeping a place here though?
Yeah, because I want to come back and do my show. Definitely gonna come back and do my show once a month. And I love all the people I've met here, dude. Like I've been more creative here this year. Nashville brought me back to myself. LA took something from me, and I didn't realize it. When I look back at who I was those last 2 years in LA, I'm embarrassed.
Why is that?
Because I turned into somebody that I couldn't believe I turned into. I'm a confident, secure dude. I'm confident in who I am. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I don't get bothered by what other people say about me. None of that shit. The last 2 years in LA, you're surrounded by people who you perceive as more successful than you, who have more than you in your own mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's on your phone all the time. Nobody's posting their L's on Instagram. They're right. You don't post the L, you post the W's. So all you think about is why this person has this and why this person has this. And I was always comparing myself to the last 2 years I spent in LA. I spent out of gratitude, not grateful for what I did. I've always my whole life been thought of what I do have and what I can do. I've never been a guy who thought about what I can't do and what I don't have. Anytime I thought about people or listened to people talk that way, I'm like, why the fuck would you focus on that? Why are you focusing on what you don't have? Focus on what you do have, which is like a lot in perspective to other people everywhere, you know? And I had just become a dude who was wrapped up in other people's business.
Is that something you kind of knew in that last year, like different, or was there like an aha moment? So it was when you moved here or came here?
When I got here, I started to feel like myself again, is the best way I can put it. And then I looked back at who I was and I just felt embarrassed. I was embarrassed for some of the things that I had said out loud. I was embarrassed. It's like why aren't I on this podcast? Why don't I get to hang out with this dude? Why aren't I getting booked here? And none of that fucking matters. When I look at my life, dude, I got a good life. I've done some shit. I continue to do some shit.
And post that weird shit.
Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. And so what am I complaining about? And Nashville brought me back to, just have fun. You get one ride on this rock. I'm not going to spend it worrying about how other people are living their lives. I'm going to focus on what the fuck I do.
Yeah.
And I like to have a good time, dude.
Right.
That's it. I like to wake up every day and be like, what am I going to do today that's going to be fun? How am I going to dominate this day?
Yeah.
And that's changed back. I've been more creative this year here than in the last probably 5 years combined in LA.
Was there something about Nashville? Something about the people? Or maybe it was being around new scenery that
I wasn't surrounded by the business. It wasn't people talking about it all the time. I wasn't inundated with it. It's normal people. When I talk to people during the day, they don't give a shit what I do or what. We're just talking about normal things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always talking about, well, did you hear about this person did this or this person got this or how you going to book this or I didn't book that. It's just living your life, which is what I always saw my friends doing. I'm like, man, you guys look like you're having a good time out there.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And plus Nashville has normal people.
He said normal people.
These aren't normal people. This is like
depends on where you are.
This is like the date rape crew.
Yeah.
Look at this group. Hey,
Alex ain't like that. Hey, falls out the back door. I'm not with this crew, man.
But yeah, man. So I'm so grateful for what I've got back here. And looking forward to taking that wherever they go. But like meeting guys like you, man, like, and doing things like this is a very cool podcast. This is very relaxed. When I was here the last time, you guys, I'd never met you before, and you guys I was making fun of you guys for how you read the
for reading that.
Yeah, and I was like, these are just two normal dudes. These are just two normal. I never met these dudes, and they're okay with me laying into them a little bit. Like, this is normal people who aren't caught up too much.
You feel like there's not a lot of that in LA?
Everyone's caught up in it. It's impossible not, even if you think you're normal, you're caught up in it. That's it. Why didn't I get a spot at the Comedy Store? He's not funnier than me. How come they got that slot? Who gives a fuck? Go do your job. Go do your job. You can't worry about any of that stuff. And so I had been doing that. And now, look, I'm doing my last show, that big show that we do on December 15th here. It's going to be bananas. But
This December 15th.
yeah, but I would have.
Are you sold out?
I don't even know.
I mean, you can use this. You can plug away, dude. This is coming out on Wednesday, bro.
Oh, it is? Look,
Yeah.
December 15th is going to be, you've been to one of those shows.
I don't, in Zanies?
Yeah. With
Yeah.
when Jelly Roll was
Yes.
there. And
That was the night.
they're-
Yes.
Yeah,
We know.
that was the night you threw up.
Yeah, I threw up.
Yeah.
Waffle shit the bed. I threw up.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, waffle
Who
shit the
shit
bed,
the
dude.
bed?
My bulldog.
Shit the bed? Are you sure it was the bulldog?
Dog, I listen. They're pulling some joke because when I was telling the story, they're like, "That's sad that you blamed it on waffle."
Yeah.
But I had passed out, right? And it already sounds bad. It sounds like I shit the bed, bro.
You don't think you
But I
can
woke
shit
up in
when
my
you pass out?
no. But so I wake up in my English bulldog waffle sitting at the end of the bed, and I kind of like wake up and I see this stream going down from her butthole, dude. Because bulldogs, their buttholes are like exposed.
Yeah.
And there's like this trail going down from her butt. And I like look up and it was smeared down. I look on the bed, shit on the bed, shit all over the floor. She had diarrhea all over the floor. It was,
Wait a second.
and this was one of the worst hangovers I've ever had in my life, was with that night with you guys and Jelly Roll.
Yeah, you put him back.
Bro, that little after hours when we were just chilling at Zanies
Oh.
and Jelly Roll just comes up with like these double shots of tequila. Yeah. We're putting him back.
Mistake number one is thinking that you're going to hang with Jelly when he drinks.
Right.
That's mistake number one. Like, and I hadn't drank in 5 years until I met that dude. I had not had a drink in 5 years.
Yeah.
And you know how he is. Come on. Hey, Joshua. Come on, Bubba.
Yeah,
And you're
come
like,
on, Bubba.
And I'm like, he looks like he's having a good time.
Yeah.
But then you're like, you just do one. And his one shot is like a cocktail.
Right.
It's like a full-on glass of
Come on,
tequila.
Bubba, for the boys.
Yeah, come on, Bubba. Yeah. And you're like, oh, well, if he's calling me Bubba, I guess I got to
Yeah.
do it, you know? But like, and then that guy, that show was crazy. This upcoming show, gonna be even crazy. I don't want to tell you, I can tell you, I don't want, there's
Do
one,
something.
I can just tell you there's a dude who's coming who won't let me advertise him or put him on the marquee. That's all I can tell you.
Can you say it to us now? We'll just bleep it out.
Look at,
Oh, the boys, they'll bleep it out.
you guys will bleep it out?
Yeah, 100%. This is a For the Boys podcast, man. Oh.
Yeah, and we're gonna write. He's one of the funniest people I know, and I know he's written a ton of funny songs just because he's a funny dude.
Right.
So he's gonna come down. Plus some other, Philip Sweet, my buddy from Little Big Town, will be down there. Brooke Eden, and plus Dusty Slay, John Christ. Like, it is gonna be a banger, and it's the last one. So we're gonna, I've been known every now and then to try to take my nuts out on stage and see if people notice them. You ever hung brains before? We used to play hang brains in college. You guys never hang brains? So
I have no clue.
You've never played hang brains?
He's like, you guys hang brains before? And I'm thinking,
Yeah,
what the fuck is he talking about?
So we used
So
to
you don't hang brains in college, man?
Yeah, we used to take our nutsack out and walk into a bar. This was definitely pre 2021, where you could probably go to jail for it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Pre 2021. We're talking 2020.
So we used to take our nuts out, and the last person who got his nuts noticed got his drink spot for the whole night. And I will tell you something right now. You know who never noticed our nuts? Women. You know who always noticed our nuts? It was always a guy who was like, "Hey, your nuts are out, bro." And I was like, "Yeah, man, I know your nuts are out, though." I'm like, "Yeah, what? Why are you looking?
Right.
Yeah, why are you
We're
checking?"
waiting on the chicks, man.
Yeah, but so hang brains. I've always wanted to hang brains on stage and just see how long it takes everyone to be like, "His nuts are out, his nuts are out, his nuts are out." So we might do that. I mean, what are they gonna do? Kick me out? I'm moving. Yeah.
So you're moving. You're leaving ASAP. You're leaving soon.
I'm leaving December 17th. So 2 days after the show. Yeah. Listen, the only reason we're not leaving December 16th is because I'm assuming I'll be so fucked up on December 15th after the show. We're going to hang out in the bar. You should come, dude.
I'll come.
It's a Wednesday. It's a school night.
I feel like my reservation's coming from like feeling like we're building this rapport and this little relationship we have going on right now. And you're leaving.
I'll be back.
When?
I'm going to come back once a month to do the show. And I film things here all the time. Like we've been filming like bananas here. So we'll be back. I filmed my special here. Like I filmed 2 specials over the past year in Nashville.
Where'd you do that?
I did one at Zany's and I did one during COVID. I had to do it in a sound studio. This was so weird. Sound studio, everyone in masks, everyone 6 feet apart, only 20 people. So I just saw their eyes doing this. It was weird. I couldn't tell if they were laughing or having convulsions. Like it was so bananas. I couldn't hear anyone laugh. And I've watched the special and my agent's like, why aren't you putting those clips out on YouTube? I'm like, it's telling jokes in silence. I mean, I'm into weird and I don't really, but I can't even watch it. You know, it's a tough thing to, silent jokes is like, although I did eat shit for a good 15 minutes the other night. I was trying these new jokes. I don't know what the equivalent in sports to eating shit is. I mean, I'm trying, but it's like you are trying something that you think is going to be great and it's not. Like you're like, there was one joke I was ready to do and I was like, this joke's going to murder crickets. Crickets.
What do you do in those moments?
Well, immediately my butthole went. I was like, oh no. Honestly what I do, because I'm very present on stage, I ask them, I go, what didn't you like about that?
Hey, we're going to take a time.
I go, I'm just
Stop
curious.
the timer. We're going to stop this right now. What did you not like about that joke?
I go, what didn't you like about that? And one guy goes, everything. And I was like, okay, well, I was like, what, this is such a, I love fucking around on stage, dude. If you come to my live show, every show's different. On Friday, we were in Huntsville and my buddy Philip from Little Big Town came down and he was playing with me on stage and I wrote 6 different versions to this one song. And I was like, well, we got a live audience here. I was like, I want you guys to be my focus group. I'm going to play all 6 versions and you guys will tell me which one's the best. Like, I like doing stuff like that. So I don't mind stopping the show and being like, why did you think that sucked? Yeah. Oh, they'll tell you too. When you ask them, I did one story that I love. I go, who thought that was too long? I'm just curious. And like half the crowd was like, way too long. And I was like, I'm sorry I asked that. I'm going to tell it exactly the same next time. I thought you guys enjoyed it. But I like doing all that. I like the fact that when you come see me, you know you're not going to see that exact show ever again. I get bored too easy, dude. If I did the same hour every night, imagine doing the same podcast every week.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it'd be boring.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Now, some people...
But you're in front of a crowd. Like, we're not in front of a crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if I was doing something like that, I wouldn't mind sticking to what I know. Oh, hey, they laughed at that? All right, I'm going to...
45 minutes...
Cops telling the same jokes 10 years later, man. Just on stage.
45 minutes, 35 minutes, you're going to see the same. It's at 25. I'm not doing a brand new hour, but it's at 25 minutes. It's what keeps me engaged. It's what makes me have fun. And if I'm having fun, you're having fun. And if I'm bored, you're going to be bored. That's just it. You know, so how do I keep it good for both of us? You know, I bring people on stage with me. I brought this one woman on stage one night and her boyfriend broke up with her when she was on stage. On the way onto the stage. So I do this bit where I play I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. And
then I'll bring 3 people on stage to do interpretive dance behind me while I do it. It's just weird and fun. And the best dancer wins their server $100. I give the server right away $100. And I'm like, great job, right? The guy goes, if you go up there, I'm breaking up with you. She came up on stage. Dude dumped her from the crowd.
Did he get up and leave or?
Yep. Left her there.
What'd you tell her? Hey, it's all good. We get you home.
I go, she was cute. So I go, who wants to give this young lady a ride home? And every dude who looked like that was like, me. That's me. I would like to do that. Yeah. Is that a freebie? Yeah, I'll take that one. I've had, and weird things happen to my show. couple weeks ago in Dallas, I had a dude show up in a kilt in the front row. And I was like, why are you wearing a kilt, man? And he goes, I wrestle in East Texas. I do like, and he had red hair and a red beard. And I go, oh. And he goes, I do the whole Irish thing. I go, that's fun. I go, did you wrestle today? And he goes, no. I go, why are you wearing the kilt? And he started to shake his hips like this. I go, what are you doing? He goes, things get sticky in Dallas. I just like to keep them loose. And I was like, oh.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Man?
And I go, he was in the front row. I go, but are you wearing underwear? And he said, I'll tell you what I tell everybody else. You got to lift it up to find out. And I said, I want to tell you something. You're challenging the wrong guy. Are you telling me you're going to let me lift up your kilt? And he said, yeah. And I go, and might be human dick under there? And he said, that's right. I go, I'm in. So he leans back.
Hang on. There might be human dick in there? Yeah, I'm fucking in.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man, because that's going to make it weird. I'm on board for making everyone uncomfortable. I like that, right? So he leans back and he spreads his legs wide. And he goes just like this. He goes, get in there. And I was like, well, that's aggressive, bro. But you're
into it.
Yeah. He was trying to, man, let's go. He was trying to make me uncomfortable, which I can't have. So I tried to make him uncomfortable. So when he sat back and spread his legs, I dropped right to my knees. So then he leaned back and he goes, do you have to do that from your knees? And I was like, yeah. So I reached down and I grabbed the kilt. And on the outside, cool as cucumber. But you know when you're so nervous, dude, it's like your butthole's gasping for breath.
Yeah.
You know when your butthole's like, get us out of here. Come on now. His
butthole now.
Yeah, his butthole is like, come on. It's like it's eating your underwear.
Now it's breathing.
Yeah. Pulling everything in. And so I lifted up, but I didn't know this about the kilt. Two sides to the kilt. One side is just more kilt. And I go, oh, that's just kilt. And he goes, yeah, I hide the treasure on the other side. And I was like, this fucking shit. And then this
leprechaun looking motherfucker, dude.
I lifted up the kilt. Human dick. Yeah. Human dick. And it was a redheaded situation. I'd never seen one of those before. It was a lot brighter than I expected it to be. And this dude was all potatoes, no meat. You know what I mean? Like his dick looked like it fell asleep on his nuts. Just his dick looked like it was blowing a bubble, just
decent confidence though, knowing you have that, you're working with that, and it's like, hey, do what you got to do.
I love the confidence, and you know what? It was, and some people like that was terrible, right? I'm like, are you kidding? That was the opening of the show.
He said, are you kidding?
I hadn't told a joke.
That was great.
15 minutes in, and I'm like, the room's blown up. We've seen human dick. I've never seen a redheaded situation, and I've never seen it. I truly looked like his dick was blowing a bubble. I had never seen a situation like that. Like the nuts were tight and large, and the dick was just like, it looked like it was just winking at you.
Yeah.
Just like a tiny little, like a belly button, like a double belly button, dude. But it was amazing. Yo.
We're back to Bussin' with the boys, the old days, man.
But yeah, I like stuff like that. It's weird. It's weird.
You like weird shit.
I like weird. Yeah, I don't need to see dick at every show. Just everybody who's listening be like, well, I guess I'll come to a show. No, I don't need to see that. That was a one-time thing, everyone. You know what I mean?
Was it?
I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah. By the way, you get an invitation to a party at my house. Must wear kilt. What?
Oh, bro.
But I like it, man. I like to keep things a little weird,
Yeah.
So come to the show on the 15th.
So how was your Thanksgiving then? If you like weird shit, how was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. My son, you met my son.
Yeah.
He was here. He was there. My daughter was in town. I had I've been having just a tiny little health thing that I've been trying to figure out.
Oh yeah, talk about that. So Josh came in with these, his style of sunglasses, I guess.
You tell me these glasses don't match these shoes.
They definitely match. And you're a weird cat, so it all makes sense.
This all checks, right? Doesn't it? Okay.
Looks like a creature from Men in Black with those glasses on.
But I maybe about 10 days ago, 12 days ago, I started to feel a little thumping in my kidneys, my right kidney. And I was like, but sometimes the road, when I'm and I've been on the road a bunch trying to work this new hour because I just did my hour. And so on the road, I just don't eat that healthy. And I felt some thumping, and I was like, maybe I'm dehydrated and drinking too much coffee. But I was sweating from everywhere. just for no reason. And I was like, that's not healthy, you know?
Mm.
And so I got back home and I had a bite to eat and my eyes swelled up. My feet swelled up. And I was just really just tired. My eyes also under here, it felt like I had been burnt. Like it was to the touch, like hurt. And so I was like, what is going on? And big black, not just normal, almost like I looked like a WWE wrestler. Like I had makeup on and swollen. And I was like, this is bananas. And it basically was with any kind of meat, salt, sugar. I basically was down to raw potato, vegetable. And I went to the doctors and get blood tests, which should be coming back tomorrow. But, you know, the worst thing you can do is Google.
WebMD.
Oh, my God. They might as well just come up and say, you're about to die. You're like,
Yeah.
huh?
But you don't have long.
No. Everything. And I'm not a dude who needed to lose weight.
Right.
And I think I probably lost, depending on what time of the day, 6 to 8 pounds over the week.
Fuck, man.
But I mean, you've only known me since I've been here. I
Yeah.
was a dude, probably stopped at quarantine. But up until quarantine, I was a dude who walked around 180, 10% body fat all the time. I've been, when I was younger, not jacked like 200, but I've been jacked. Like my dad's 85, man. This dude shoots below his age in golf. He looks the same. Like I got good genes. This is the first time I've ever felt and looked like this before. So it's really bananas. But the not being able to eat is especially high at Thanksgiving. That was a real bummer.
Knows he has an issue, gets high, and goes into Thanksgiving.
Yeah, listen, I'm no quitter. You know, I'm not going to let a little kidney problem take away my good time. But it's the same thing with.
Is the same stuff currently happening?
Yeah, it's going down.
So if you were to eat meat, salt, sugar right now, like.
No, dude. If I ate a piece of meat right now, it's almost immediate. It's almost immediate. Like I can feel it. I'm aware of my kidney at all times. It's like a dull. And so the dude he'll get me my results tomorrow and we'll see. I mean, I've done too much Googling on it. So there's a myriad of things that it could be.
So you're nervous?
No, you know what? And I actually Googled it just so I was like, it's almost just for information. But I don't get nervous because there's nothing I can do about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I worry about it, I don't think it's going to make it any better. I'm not a doctor, so I can't fix it. I can just wait until I get the results and go from there. But I'm not going to I can either worry about it and not know until tomorrow or not worry about it and not know until tomorrow. And one sounds way better than the other. But I for sure, I don't need to get down to high school weight. Do you know what I mean?
What are you weighing right now?
I'm probably at 158. When's the last time you were 158?
I don't know, man. I would say
8th grade.
No, I was 175. And
You were at 170.
Well, no. I was 180 as a freshman. I would say I was probably 160, 165 as an 8th grader. So 7th, 8th grade, middle school is when I was 155.
That doesn't make me feel great. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever get back. I don't ever want to work out the way I used to work out. So I'll never get back to 180 and doing that body weight shit. But I'd love to live around 170 and, you know, and not be like, I look like a sick kid. When I put this hat on too big, like when I don't make it tight and it hangs down around my ears, it's like, it's a tough look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I did it this morning as a joke, and my wife got down on one knee and was like, "Come here, little buddy. Come on, let me give you a hug." And I was like, "That's not funny." I don't like that.
Come here, little buddy.
Come on, little buddy.
Picks you up.
Yeah, dude. It's not great. Swaddles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. Hooters is your go-to spot for killer wings and ice cold beer. By the way, you know what goes great with killer wings? Ice cold beer.
What goes great with both of those things?
Hooters. But football season means all the big games on all the big screens. And it's the only place that has world famous Hooters girls. They love football just as much as you. And they're better looking than your friends, which is true. Do you know, my dad he was like, you know what we should do? I've never been to Hooters. And I was like, come on, man. He tried to make it seem like I've heard of that place, but I've never been. I was like,
Was his wife?
my mom was there. I was like, we're gonna go with my mom. Come on, dude. But we went. He was like, I like those wings.
I feel like it's always the go-to, like to act a little like ignorant about it. Like, yeah, I've seen it. Seems fun. We can go there.
I've never heard. I've just seen that they have good wings.
And when you're young, when you're a kid, dude, you're like so stoked to go.
Come on. When you're 14 and you go to Hooters and you don't go to the bathroom the whole time because you're scared to stand up. Hooters has game day specials to keep you hydrated and filled up on your Hooters favorites all season long. If you can't make it to Hooters for the game, you can still get your Hooters fix at home. That's true. Save $10 with code Barstool. That's BARSTOOL when you order online. And let me tell you something right now. The in-game, in-person Hooters experience is awesome.
There's nothing like it.
However, the delivery with the wings, phenomenal. I'm not going to lie to you. I've had some Hooters at my house. I'm a big fan of those wings. But if you're using ranch, you're doing it wrong. Blue cheese.
Okay, we're going to end the ad. We'll get into some other stuff, but
wait.
That's fine. Yeah, that's a hot take, dude.
Wait, who's dipping ranch?
Me. Ranch, bro.
Who's the blue cheese? Thank you. Oh, yeah. Are you psyched to, when's the baby come out?
March 27th.
Now, have people given you advice and all that stuff?
Maybe there's been a couple, but the majority of people are like, hey, you're going to get a lot of unsolicited advice. And, no one really knows. Like, you're going to love it. You're going to learn as you go. And obviously, if you have questions, every friend's always like, I'm here to help if you ever have a question. But people are going to try and tell you stuff, and like, no one's going to fucking know.
Baby books are the biggest piece of shit. They just make you feel bad because you're like, wait a kid, my kid's 2 and he's not doing this yet. So you think your kid's dumb or some shit.
I'll for sure I'll be that guy for sure. If they're not doing something by the age 2, and I think they should be.
Somebody, so
like, hey, we got a problem.
We were in Jacob's preschool, my youngest son. And, by the way, they hated me at that preschool. It was we're Jewish, but we're not we're Jewish, but we used to call it was a temple. So I used to call it the Jew school, and they hated it when I called it the Jew school. And I was like, hey, everybody, we're having a good day at the Jew school. And everyone's like, don't call it the Jew school. I'm like, well, this is where we are.
Yeah.
But there was a kid in Jacob's class who was around 2.5, 3, and he just wasn't that verbal. But physically, he was a dominant. And that, people develop at different ages. But the mom was so harped on it. She was like, what do you think? I'm like, if he's 14 and doesn't speak the English, I would call somebody.
Right.
He's 2.5. He still sticks his finger in his asshole. Do you know what I mean? Like, you give him a fucking break. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
He's 2.5. I get so wrapped up. Yeah, don't get wrapped up in that stuff. And not only that, when people, if you think to yourself, I'm not ready, or I'm not sure if I'm ready, nobody's ever ready.
Right.
When people ask me, do you think I'm ready to have a kid? It's like asking me, you think I'm ready to go to prison? I don't know. I've never been there before. You've never been there either. Like, that's the same thing. It's an experience you can't describe to other people. Mm-hmm. So like, but I would get all the fun stuff you want to do out before March.
Yeah. I feel like I do. I'm more of a homebody, so it's not like, everyone's always like, oh, Will, your lifestyle is going to change a whole lot. And people talk about like stuff with Bussin, or you get to do all these things. And I don't know, man. I guess I'll find out when that happens. You will. This is the craziest thing. If I told you 3 years ago, there's going to be a human being who probably is going to shit on your fingers and pee in your mouth. That's not what I'm not stoked about. You're like, that's not going to happen. But there's something cute about it. Like the first. You're different though, bro. You're the first time. I think we've identified you like some weird shit. The first time Jacob peed in my face, it was so funny. Because you take off his diaper and then the pee just comes straight at your face. I was just like, I'm so glad my mouth was closed. You know what I mean? I mean, I've paid for that before, but yeah. The thing is, it's like Craigslist, man. The thing is that like you're like, that's so funny that human just peed on my face, but it is. It's just something that for whatever reason, now it's cute. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not really. You're like, yeah, I'm not sure I buy that.
Yeah, my buddy, one of my boys sent me a photo and he had like shit on his arm. He's like, "Oh, you got this to look forward to," and we'll find out, man. I'm buckled in.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to the most? Do you know? Did you say if it was a boy or girl?
Girl,
Girl.
baby girl, dude. What I'm looking forward to the most, I don't know. I since obviously I'm not a father yet, like I don't know what there is to look forward to outside of the stuff that people already know about, like their first steps or when they get old enough to start having a little bit of a personality, like in between 1 and 2,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But I'm not sure.
Those first couple months, I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's what everybody says.
They're boring.
It's like
is this?
just keeping the kid alive.
Yeah, people are like, it's the miracle of life. I'm like, well, the miracle of life is boring as shit. You know what I mean? This is all he's get. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the whole game plan.
Right.
That first day you walk in and they recognize you and smile.
Yeah, that's
You're
what
like,
Taylor says.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I am 100% in. Like, but I've been keeping them alive that's basically what you're doing
Right.
for a little bit.
Right. And a lot of people talk about the experience when you're first holding them. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm trying not to hype it up too much because then, then it gets there and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
this
Is
is
this
it?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what was weird for me the first time? So I was getting Jacob out of his car seat and he had poop around his neck and under his ears. And I was like, this is when I was like, do I not know where your butthole is? Like how? Yeah. I broke him already. So I don't know if it didn't happen with my daughter, but from what I understand, it does happen with boys. When they're sitting, the poop is so explosive, it goes up their back. So he shat up. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I called my mom. I'm like, he has shit on his neck. Yeah. She was like, yeah, sometimes when they're sitting there, it's coming out so hard in their buttholes, it shoots it straight up. Shoots it straight up. By the way, I got to tell you something. I've always wanted to shit up. I'm like, that is a great skill to have. Like, you know what I mean? And this dude's nailing it 2 months in. God. He's nailing it 2 months in, man. But I will tell you, this is my best piece of advice for you. Don't sweat the small shit. Don't sweat the small shit, especially when they get older. You can't correct them every time they do something wrong because that's all they do is something wrong. Pick your battles. You don't want to be the person who's always saying that they're doing something wrong. Don't do that, man. Enjoy it. Pick your battles, what you want to fight for, and then remember that they watch you. They're not listening. Your dad ever give you those long speeches?
Where they're sitting and lecturing you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember one of them?
No, not really.
But do you remember watching him do things? Do you remember seeing him? That's the thing. They're sponges. So don't think they're picking up what you say to them when you're teaching them lessons. They're watching you. So if you're an asshole to your wife and they're watching it, that's what they're picking up. Not you saying, you got to be respectful because they're like, well, I just watched that.
Mm-hmm.
So remember that they're watching all the time, even at a very young age. Besides that, good luck.
I appreciate that, man.
Good luck and don't give up on the edibles. You're going to need them. Yeah. When people are like, you got to stop doing drugs. Nope. Need more.
No. Yeah. Need them more. Need them more now more than ever.
That's a bad game plan on your part.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
I am excited. I think it's gonna be dope, and it's having a baby girl will be interesting.
How many do you want to have? Do you know?
We want to have 3.
3?
Yeah.
You want to be outnumbered.
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that, but yeah, essentially.
You got brothers and sisters?
2 brothers.
Older or younger?
Both younger.
Oh, so you were the asshole.
I'm the big dog.
You did the shit to them. What's the worst thing?
Yeah, but
the worst thing you did to
the middle one was the asshole.
What's the worst thing you did? Yeah, but I'm the youngest of 4 boys. Yo, let me tell you something. They used to put me in those fold-up couches and put me back in and put it back. Oh yeah, I learned how to breathe like a prisoner, real young. Like you could put me in a trunk right now, I'd be comfortable. My oldest brother, he was the worst. He used to like to scare me, right? Because I jazz hand when I scare, and I make this noise, right? And that's their fault because they PTSD'd me. So, but after a while, that noise wasn't enough. So he would punch me in the chest after he scared me. So it sounded like this. And he loved that. He was like, you sound like a donkey. So I know you did some shit to your younger brothers.
Probably the worst thing I did, maybe it's not the worst, but the worst thing I can think of right now is it was 4th of July, and I was kind of riffing off you know how you hold your ear up to a seashell and you can hear the ocean.
Yeah.
I was telling Cody we had this, what were they called? The kids basketball goals. What brand are those
Nerf?
things called? No, not
Hasbro?
Nerf. Little Tyke. It was like a Little Tyke where it had the white backboard, the red rim, the yellow like shaft. And so I had the yellow.
2 shafts.
I know, 2 shafts. I had like the
double
yellow
shaft.
I had the yellow shaft, dude.
By the way, I mean,
by itself.
Yeah, you
took
neither
the goal apart.
Bong nor basketball hoop needs to be described with shaft.
Shaft. I know. I don't know why that's my word today. Shaft is the word today. You know what I mean? But I take that apart and I just have the yellow
just
shaft.
The shaft. Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
have the shaft. Yeah. And I'm telling him, hey, you put your ear up to this, you can hear. I forget what I told him, but I'm like, oh, you can hear stuff. And I had lit like an M90, like fireworks. Addy put his ears up to that, and I closed it in, and it went off. And he cries and runs inside and get my ass whooped, dude.
But I love how you're like, I don't know if this is bad. This might be. I don't know. But
no,
my brother can't hear anymore. But is that bad? Yeah.
I'm saying some stuff could have been worse. Like Wyatt, the youngest. Wyatt was 6 years younger than us, and Cody and I were like 18 months apart, so we're like a year apart. And
he was so 6. It's too young for you to beat up too much. Well, maybe not. Okay,
I'm throwing off right now because I hear these motherfuckers laughing, talking about 18 months. It's like a year. Grades. We were a year apart in grades.
18 months is like a year. I mean, it's not an
appreciate
Irish
that.
twin.
Appreciate that, man. I need that win.
Yeah.
But Wyatt would come in with like a sippy cup and stuff, and Cody and I would just essentially bully him out all the time. He blames us for the reason he quit skateboarding because he wanted to like skateboard, and we like made fun of him for being a skateboarder. And reading, bro. I know, brutal, man.
Wait a second. What you you teased him out of reading?
Yeah, we're like, why you reading, nerd? Golly, man, I know. Me telling the story, I feel so bad, bro. Because we literally did that.
What's his name?
Wyatt.
Wyatt's like, I never learned to read because of you guys.
I'm telling you, man, Wyatt brings it up all the time. Like, Will and Cody bullied me out of reading and skateboarding.
Whoa. Yeah, one probably worse than the other.
Yeah, for sure.
That's hilarious, dude.
And me saying it out loud right now, I'm like, man, I was an asshole. Like, that's such an asshole move. That's a terrible older brother move,
it's
man.
Older brother stuff, man. My older brother.
Because I can't read, I'm just bullying him.
You're like, were you reading, nerd?
Push him down.
Yeah. Did you ever do the ABCs? Where you sit on the chest?
Yeah, like do the ABC?
No.
You know the ABCs, man?
Did you ever do the ABCs like where you would you would sit on his chest and you would pin his arms down and you would punch?
Yeah.
You would punch him in the chest, and so
just right in the sternum. Yeah.
So my brother would do ABCs of fruit, and I'm like, "There's no fruit that starts with Z." He was like, "I guess you're fucked then." I'm like, "What?
I guess you're fucked then."
That's not how this is supposed to work. But he would do ABCs at animals, and if you pause for too long, he'd start over. This dude, he was relentless. But so one night, I had a friend over. This friend, my buddy's name was Gary Miles, and Gary was my buddy, man, but not the biggest dude. And so my oldest brother was babysitting, and I guess he was probably 15. And my brother above me was probably 12, and Gary and I were probably 10. And so my oldest brother, even though he was babysitting, he was torturing the brother above me, just hitting him and just completely fucking with him. And so my brother snapped. And he runs in the kitchen. He brings back a knife.
Jesus, man.
Big old knife. And he goes, you touch me, fucking touch me again, I'll stab you. Touch me again, I'll stab you. And I'm sitting there like this. And Gary's sitting there like this. And my oldest brother grabbed Gary and put him right in front of him. He goes, fucking stab me. I don't care. Go ahead, stab me. And Gary's like, what? Don't stab me. Don't stab me. And he was like, I dare you to stab Gary. And my brother's like, I'll fucking stab him. And I'm like, what is going on?
Everyone's just yelling.
Yo, Gary Miles never came back to my house. He was like, I'm out on your house. It was 3 older brothers. It got, 3 boys in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Bananas.
Yes.
There's shit happens like that where you look back and you're like, what were we doing?
Exactly. And we were like a wrestling family, all the sports. Cody was a wrestler. So we're like, it's funny, we would like make brackets and we would have wrestling tournaments. And Cody and I would be on one side of the bracket, and Wyatt essentially had to be the opponent for us all the way until Cody and I got to the championship. So,
Oh my God.
so we would just be tossing Wyatt for like 64-man bracket.
And he's 32 of them.
That's hilarious.
You're the worst.
Oh, bro. I'm like 12, so Wyatt's 6.
Oh my God. We used to play a game in our basement, and the basement was concrete, obviously, called slow-mo football, where you moved in slow.
Never happens that way.
Well, my brother always went fast mo when he wanted to get you to the ground. Like if you were like trying to struggle, and he'd just go blam, and you were like, "Oh, that's fast." And looking back on it, makes me laugh that we were screaming, "That's fast mo! That's fast mo!" That's all. We would also turn off the lights in the basement and each grab 2 darts,
Oh,
and you'd go, "Ready, go!" And you could just hear, "Dunk," and it would land in something. He'd be like, "I fucking heard that one. That was so close to me." Somebody got hit one time. My brother got hit.
Ooh.
My oldest brother, which was a bad. Oh, you heard him. You heard a thunk, and nothing. You just heard, "Turn on the fucking light," and we were all like, "Oh no!" We turn on the light, and there's Big Bro. Oh, fuck.
Dart to the chest.
Yeah, and now here's the good news. Just in case somebody got hit, everybody had different colored darts. So he knew who hit him. And I was just like, "Oh, I'm so glad that's not my color." I was like, this is a win for me, because my oldest brother gets hit with a dart, and then I get to see one of my other older brothers get the shit beat out of him because he just hit one with a dart. It was definitely.
It's like the worst. The older brother, he wants to play the game, but he's gonna beat your ass if he gets
That's
got.
it. Like, nobody wanted to hit
Yeah.
Big Brother, but he wanted to play because he threw it the hardest. When he threw it, you could hear it
Bro.
in the air.
Hey, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it was, and my dad had put up wood in the basement, so there was wood on the walls. You could just hear that. Yeah, dude. He would stand up, because I was probably 8 at the time when we were playing this, so he was 14. Nobody else had gone through puberty yet, so he was humming missiles, and you could just hear him. Boom, and I was always hiding behind the couch, like, "Oh my God!" Like, I'm too young. I'm like, this is gonna go through me. They're gonna throw it, and it's gonna go through my body. Like,
Josh is wondering, why do I have to play this game?
yeah. Well, there's a bunch of games I was like, why do I have to play? And they were like, "Come on, you're playing." I'm like, this sounds real bad for me.
Yeah.
This sounds real bad for me.
Dude, 4th of July, we would have like, we would just pour gas out, light it on fire, and then you would undo all the sparklers.
Wait,
Bottle,
pour where though? Pour the gas where?
like out in like a gravel, like out in
in the
like a
gravel.
gravel street or something like that. Like
Yeah.
the driveway out behind that, the alley's full
Yeah.
of gravel. We'd pour gasoline all over. We'd take apart all the sparklers and like Roman candles and stuff like that. And you would just throw all the fireworks in there, and you'd run and like have a shield and stuff like that.
Oh shit.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
We did that. That's trash can lids we used were fun during snowball fights. Because you grew up in Nebraska.
Grew up in Missouri, but I
Missouri.
went to
You had
Nebraska too. So
snowball- you
yeah,
had
we had
snowball
snow.
fights.
Yes. Yeah.
Snowball fights for me. And did you ever hide and throw them at cars?
Oh yeah.
Did you ever have a car chase you?
No, never had that.
Oh yeah, dude. When that car puts the brake light on and you're 12, you're like, uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like 16.
Oh yeah, you were a little too old probably to be. Yeah, I wish
it's like,
they
oh,
had
this
caught
is the
you.
snowstorm
There were
last year.
12 of you?
There was a lot of us
Where'd you grow up?
here.
They were throwing eggs though, not snowballs.
Well, we
right?
did that too.
Oh,
They like hit a cop car.
This isn't about me.
with
This is
an
about
egg,
them.
Not knowing it was one.
You were throwing eggs though, bro. Hey.
yeah.
Easy.
If an egg hits my car, I think I'm madder than if snow hits my car.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Snow hits snow.
I've been hit with an egg at an
Snow is
outdoor
snow.
show.
That's the graphic.
I get hit with an egg at an outdoor show.
God damn it, Alex.
People were throwing eggs at the performers.
No.
Like, and again,
With throwing
I'm-
what? Eggs?
eggs. I'm not. If it had happened a bunch, I'd have been mad. But the fact that I have a story that I get hit with an egg on stage, yeah, I don't care. Like anything that happens one time, Like the kilt, that's cool once. You know, I've had people throw up at my shows and try to stay at my shows, so throw up in margarita glasses. This is yo. I had a woman in the front row. I've had this dude finger banging his girl in the front row, like this. Will okay?
What kind of show is he running?
So people know that weird is okay, but this was pre the talk of weird. I was in Cleveland, and this guy was from. If the stage is back where those dudes are, the back of the bus. His table's here. There's one table in front of him. It's spaced out a little bit, and he and his girl are sitting here, round table. Other couple behind. I'm sorry about that. And so he's not hiding the diddle. Like it's not like he looked like a DJ scratching a record. Like that's how far away he was. And I was just like, and he was staring at me when he was doing it, which is some prison shit. I'm like, I don't need you staring at me.
Was he laughing at your jokes too?
He was not, which is why he ended up getting kicked out. I told him, I go, I said, I don't care if you finger your girlfriend, but you got to enjoy the show. No, he got kicked out because he ended up talking at the table. And I told him on the way out, I go, listen, man, I didn't bother you when you were fingering your girlfriend, but you can't talk at the table because that's too far. And everyone was like, and when he got
that's
thrown
the
out,
line?
well, because fingering your girlfriend is a victimless crime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not bothering anybody. Well, you were bothering the other people at the table. The woman who sat at the table was like, this was the grossest thing I've ever sat next to. And the guy who was sitting next to her goes, I can't believe I didn't have to pay more for this ticket. But that I like. I don't want people doing it at every show. I don't want the dick at every show.
But
I like something a little different. I'm on board for it.
Okay.
What are you bringing on December 15th?
I don't know, man. It sounds like I got to come correct. Just be surrounded. What's everybody anteing up in here, guys? All right, here we go. Shout out the boys at Revitalite. You've heard me talk about Revitalite a lot by now, and you know the drill. It is the adult version of a certain drink you find in the baby aisle at CVS. They took away the embarrassment. We meet at the register by putting their brand in places where you can buy beer, wine, and liquor across the nation to make your weekend shopping even easier, and you can even get it on the Barstool store. The boys at Revitalite are taking things to the next level and teamed up with us to create the ultimate way to save yourself a rough morning after. Revitalite Black Label, made specifically with stoolies in mind for maximum recovery and the perfect complement for when your life gets a little rough and rowdy. Don't pay for Saturday nights on Sunday morning. Revitalite Black Label pairs perfectly with nightcaps and midnight snacks. Your nightstand will feel naked without Revitalite, so stock up, boys. Pro tip, drink half at night and the other half in the morning for optimal results.
I was gonna say
and you
that.
won't have that rough morning after. Pick up your Revitalite Black Label today in stores or online at Barstool Store, and tweet us or tag at Drink Revitalite in your morning after stories.
Were you in Nebraska when Cable Guy did that giant show at the stadium on July 4th? It was a July 4th show.
I was probably there, but I never saw. I haven't gotten to see what's Larry's actual name?
Dan.
Dan. I haven't gotten to see Dan live.
You haven't?
No, man. I've messaged with him trying to get him on the pod.
If
He's talking about coming on if he comes to Nashville. Yeah.
He's a really good dude.
Yeah. I would love to have him on. He's a huge Husker fan.
The biggest.
Oh yeah. Our player entertainment room was by him.
Dude,
ponying up some cash for the boys.
His box is like crazy. I'd never been to a game. I think I told you this with the balloons. I was not expecting that. And
because you went and saw Sue.
Yeah.
Or you saw Sue being at the game.
Yeah, that down on the sideline watching that dude run around was I'd never seen a human pick up other humans.
Yeah.
With one hand. Like that double team, and he would just kind of pick everybody up.
Bro,
and move them
Sue, one time we were at a Saturday scrimmage. We had this offensive guard, Ricky Henry. Badass dude. Like you didn't really mess with Ricky. He was a wrestler in high school, like just a old fashioned, like, country strong type of dude. And he must have held Sue or something, but we're running a Saturday scrimmage. And our coaches, we're talking Coach Pelini, his staff, and they're real like, holding up rules and holding everybody accountable and, yelling and all this stuff. Sue, man, Ricky held Sue or something, and Sue hits this man in the back of the head. as he turns around and starts going back to the huddle. Bop! Drops him right there in Memorial on a Saturday, and everyone stops and it's quiet. Ricky's like down, knocked out. And they move the ball up, hey, move it up 10 yards to go on to the next play. Ricky ends up getting up. Nobody says a word to Sue, bro.
What are you gonna say to him? What's it like to be?
Yeah, I know.
What are you gonna say?
But bro, this dude was face down like a Family Guy moment or something, where he's just laying on his stomach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Smokes him in the back of the head.
What is it like to play? Because I remember watching Deion Sanders and guys like that, where you're like, so you're with the best athletes, and you're also clearly the best athlete amongst. Is that something that you all are aware of? You're like, that dude's just another level, even from us.
Yeah, 100%.
Like even in the pros, right? Where you're like, we're the best of the best. We are the 1% of the 1%, and that dude is still
The 1%
the
of
freak.
our 1%. Yeah.
Like is Derrick Henry seems like that type of dude also.
Yeah, I mean, in person, that dude is a monster. You know what I mean?
Is-
Like some people look bigger on TV than
Yeah.
they do in person. Derek is like, oh, that's an NFL player. I remember the first time I saw Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's an NFL player.
I remember
Megatron.
the first time.
Cam Newton, pregame when we were in Carolina, he was out warming up. It's like, oh, that's a fucking NFL player.
I felt that way, honestly, standing next to Gronk. That early
Yeah, he's a
Gronk,
big dude.
But I was looking at him, I'm like, this dude looks like he'd be about this big without the weights.
Right.
Like one of those dudes who's just massive.
Yeah.
He was we were doing a Playboy golf tournament.
How was that? Weird.
There was a no cell phone rule. So you weren't allowed to bring your cell phone to the course. It was an interesting 18. I'll tell you that. But it was, there was this one woman. She would put a tee in her butthole and let you hit off of her butthole. Hit the, tee off of her butthole. And by the way, I've done that before. It's nerve-wracking.
You've been the one laying down.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the tee in the asshole.
Yeah, with one of those long drive guys.
Yeah.
At the Ortiz golf tournament. This dude, it hit a ball 380 yards out of my asshole. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's just laying down there laughing like that too.
Yeah, dude, it made me laugh. He was like, you turn over. We're not doing it out of the dick, but we'll do it out of the asshole. Yeah. And by the way, not in the butthole, just clenched in there. Like I'm not putting a golf tee in my butthole.
You got to put it in there.
Not again, anyway.
You got to put it in there a little bit. You know what I mean?
I mean, just, to rest it.
Right.
No, it's
You
between
gotta
the cheeks, bro.
You're clenching it too,
Yeah,
right?
it's between my cheeks. It's not
Yeah.
in the hole. It's between the cheeks.
Okay, so it's not breaking.
Seal.
Right.
It's not breaking the seal. No.
Okay, that's what I'm picturing.
No, yeah.
Let me drive
Put that
this.
tee in a little further. No, I'm good. Yeah. But what's his name? Trevor, I'm forgetting your last name. Con something. Long drive. Yeah. There might be a video of him hitting a ball.
Nice pool, Alex.
Nice. And so this dude will outdrive you with his putter, by the way, which is really humiliating. He'll put a 280, 300,
think so?
280, 300 down the
Is that
middle of the
possible?
fairway with a putter. It's crazy. But
My guys are good.
this Playboy bunny who liked to let people do that, some dude missed and just hit her left cheek with a driver. Hard. Because he wanted to show off in front of her. And just the noise it made, and then the ball just boonk, rolled off. But she made this noise. Her
Didn't even affect her like that. She just took it. She ate it.
her ass cheek by the end, because I was like, I got to go back and see. Her ass cheek by the end, dude, it was so blue and swollen. And she was trying to laugh it off. Yeah, I know it's good. It's happened before. I'm like, nah. Yeah,
It's really not that bad.
Here he is. He also can swing a stick, dude. Yeah. It's from the Ortiz. It would have been at the Ortiz Golf Classic. He and I have done a bunch of times together. We met at the Larry the Cable Guy one too. But this dude, legit
Real deal.
can just crush him. And it's embarrassing to be outdriven with a putter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if that's what he's built for, you know,
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
like, well, he's the best.
Yeah, that's true. Golf is not my. I think it's 6 holes too long.
I would agree with that. I would agree with you there.
If it was 12 holes, I'd be out there. But what? 5 hours? Fuck you.
Right.
5 hours? Yeah, this is what he did, but it wasn't me. But look at that swing. Yeah, dude. That he lifts up.
A lot of torque, a lot of club.
Yeah.
Just start talking. Yeah, a lot of shaft. Man.
A lot of shaft in there. Yeah. A lot of shit. This dude's all shaft, is what I understand.
But I agree with you because I'm like, I want to play scramble.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hit my own ball the whole time.
No.
Like, I'm not that good.
And it's not that fun to do 5 hours of that.
Right. Like, I'll drive over here and hit my ball. I'll wait on you to hit your ball. Like, I'm trying to be in the same cart.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get some beer going, a cigar, some
Fun.
music.
Yeah.
Not take it so seriously.
Dude, I play preferred lie, which means if I don't prefer for my ball to lie there, I pick it up and I put it somewhere else.
Yes.
A lot
Why
of
not?
times I play preferred lie and I'm like, I don't prefer it here. I'm going to put it on the green. This is where I prefer
Yeah.
it. My dad hates it.
Yeah, I just want to hit it from here.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, that's not the rules. I'm like, in this card it is.
Right.
That's why people have always, when they ask me, you live in Tennessee? I'm like, yeah. They're like, is weed legal there? I'm like, at my house it is.
At my house.
Yeah, my house, it's real legal. It's always been legal.
Yeah.
Also, I've said since I've been here, getting arrested for weed in Tennessee would be the best thing that ever happened in my career. Come get me. Every time I smoke weed live online, I'm like, come get me, everybody. Boo! You know where I live.
Why would that be the best thing that happened in your career?
Just good press. It'd be funny. I'd make good jokes out of it. I'd get a lot of stories from jail.
Oh shit.
By the way, my son and I started a podcast together
Oh really?
called Hey
What's it
Man.
called?
Hey Man, because I say that a lot and I say hey man. And when we call each other, we go, hey man. And so, but he told me this story in this last, I'm dropping it all today. We have 8 episodes. He went to that fucking Astroworld concert.
Oh shit, the one where people are dying?
Yo, told me the whole story. If his girlfriend, at the time they said, because they were up against the barricade, they got there early to get up against the barricade. That was the good spot. And she had bruises around her body from just being smushed. Yo, Jacob told me this story about this girl. And so everyone's smushed like this. He's 6'3".
Yeah.
He's not tiny.
Mm-hmm.
He was lifted off the ground with his feet, just like this, being moved around. He said, he was looking around trying to find, and his girlfriend was pushed up against the barricade. And he looked at one point to his left and saw this girl who had, when Travis came on stage, had thrown her hands up in the air to cheer. Well, she got smushed. So now her hands are stuck like this. And so, and she's being, Jacob said, it's like it was like watching a boa constrictor. Because every time she let out a breath, the crowd just closed. Right? That's why people pass out, because you can't breathe in anymore. And he said he just slowly saw her starting to just fall, just go under. And he was like, the problem is if you went down, you were down. Like if you went down to get somebody, you weren't getting up because they were closing the gap. And he said,
what the
he said
fuck?
2 guys just reached down and lifted her back up. But he said there were times where like you were being moved and you could see people underneath you and you couldn't help them. Fucking crazy. But the story he tells on the podcast is like,
What made him want to go?
he loves Travis Scott.
Yeah, but isn't that like
Not like that. And
for real? Because some people say he like
but that's
condones
his,
that stuff. Like he's like, we want it to be crazy.
I
we
think
want
that's yeah. He wants that energy, right? That was what bringing the younger crowd, and that was what he was known for. And he'd been arrested on stage before in Vegas, right? Or something like that, where he had told people to break down a barricade.
Yeah.
He got arrested for inciting a riot, I think, right? But that's good for his, who am I? That's good for his, but there's only one way for that to end, when you just keep pushing.
Yeah.
And so, but he loved the music. Loved the music.
Was he thinking about that though, going into the concert? Like,
He
this is
knew.
gonna be wild.
Well, this is what. So Travis Scott, they rushed, and his girlfriend said right to him, "We got to go right now." And he was like, "You're right." And so they had her. She needed a security guard to reach in and pull her over because she was smushed, and same with him. And he said that they were helping pull people out. And some people, I was like, why couldn't they just get over the fence? And he was like, Dad,
Yeah.
you're smushed from all sides. There's no lifting yourself up over the fence. There's too much. There's thousands of people of body pressure on you. I can't even imagine, man. I can't even fucking imagine. But
You're like helpless.
he was like, they both had like legit nightmares. He was like, I've been waking up seeing faces for a week.
Wow.
Bananas.
Because you like to think like you would just start bodying people around, but
It's just too many people.
it seems like there's
It's just
nothing you can do. Imagine being on the ground, like on your back, like, yo, I'm about to go.
That's the crazy
It's
thing,
like in
dude.
war.
Right.
Is
You
you're
just get trampled.
100% helpless. Even like, dude, you're a grown man. I'm sure you've never walked into a crowd and been like, I'm going to be okay. But you would be picked up and moved. If your feet got off the ground, that was it. Bananas. But to hear, dude, to hear him talk about it was like, I couldn't believe. He texted me the next morning. I went to sleep before it all. I'm so glad I didn't hear about it that night.
Right.
Because to get a text the next morning, would have just been like, yo, he saw somebody get shot in Cleveland. He came to visit me at a show.
Yeah.
And we were up in the hotel room. And I know he gets high. He knows I get high, but we don't get high together. I mean, he's a grown person who's allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants. I'm just not going to get high with him, right? And so we were high in the room. And there was a quesadilla place right across under the window, right below our window across the alley in Cleveland. And I was like, go get us some quesadillas, dude. He was like, yeah. So he goes out and gets some quesadillas. In about 5 minutes, I hear, pa-pa, pa-pa-pa. And if you've heard gunshots, you know the difference between a gunshot and a car backfiring.
Right.
I'm like, these are gunshots. And it's right where he was. Like the gunshot sounds right underneath the window where it was the longest walk to a window. Because I'm like, I gotta look. And I pulled back the shade and there was a body in the alley, not his. And I call him. I go, hey. And he goes, yeah. I go, you okay? He goes, I just saw someone get shot. And I go, dude, come back up here. And he goes, why? I go, somebody just got shot. He goes, yeah, but they're not going to come back and shoot him again, right? And I go, I don't think so. He goes, yeah, I'm waiting for the food. I go, you high motherfucker. What are you doing?
I've got to secure this food.
I go, what are you doing? He goes, yeah, everybody else ran. So the owner of the place said I could have everybody's food. He goes, I'm bringing up 4 full bags. I'm like, yeah, wait around. Bring up the 4 bags. But it was crazy. But he was so nervous that night. He said to me, he was a grown dude. He was 19 maybe. He goes, you mind if I lay in the bed with you? I'm like, nah, dude, you can come on with her. But he was like, I can't believe I saw someone get shot. But crazy, dude.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
that dude has seen something. I can't even imagine.
Seen somebody get shot?
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah. I've never seen it. I mean, have you guys seen anybody get shot? Bloss has.
Roback Activewear.
Yeah.
You all know Roback. Best fit, best feel.
The best.
I mean, it's football season, which is obviously the best season, which means it's also hoodie season. Hoodie. Luckily for you guys, Roback just restocked their performance hoodies. I am not kidding when we say these are the absolute softest, highest quality hoodies in the game. Send that over here. The material is out of this world soft.
JP's wearing
Stretch
his
is
everyday
unmatched. Nobody does hoodies like Roback. Oh, this smells like a camel's asshole. But it is soft. Yeah, you are right. Yeah. Wow.
It is soft, man. I mean, I have plenty. I'm just trying to sell it right now, but it is.
And it feels kind of
incredibly
breathable
soft.
too. This is nice. I like this. Now
You can have it.
Can I? I'm gonna pass on this particular one. But Roback, listen, use the code Bussin. That's BUSSIN on roback.com for a generous 20% off your first order.
Stealing.
That's spelled Roback, RHOBACK.com. That's 20% off your first order on all polos, Q-zips, which I don't know what it is, a hoodie, and tees with the code Bussin. What's a Q-zip?
It's like, quarter zip.
Oh, okay. Hop on the
It's like,
yeah. Quarter zip. That
shout
was
out
my
the boys
nickname in high
the
school.
bag, baby.
Hop on the Roback train now because it's taking off. So go check them out at roback.com. Do it for the boys.
Phenomenal.
My oldest son, when he came back from from Afghanistan, first tour, we threw him a party at the house, and he goes, "Can I show a slideshow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." He goes, "I want to show you guys, my friends and where we were." I'm like, "That sounds great, dude." So he puts this slideshow together, and I go, "You know what? It was like 15 minutes before the party." I go, "Let me just take a look at the slideshow so I know what the feel of it is." So I just
Get the vibe.
where we want to play it at the party. Because there's people from age 6 to 80 at this. Mm-hmm. So the first is like him on the plane and him landing in Afghanistan and him in his bunk and his buddies. And then it just cuts to a video. And there's just these Afghanis walking near a dry riverbed. And then there's a carpet bomb. And then there's no more people. And I press stop. I go, "Dude, we can't show that." He goes, "Why not?" I go, "That's actual death, right?" He goes, "Yeah, but no blood." I go, "No, that's not the line."
Yeah, but no blood.
I know the line is not blood. Yeah. The line, let's call it the line death. Like, you can't show death. He goes, "Yeah, but nobody knows." I go, "Yeah, everybody knows. Everybody knows they were there at the bomb. Now they're not there."
Yeah.
He was like, "Is that too far?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You don't want to see the rest." I go, "Yeah, no, I don't want to see the rest."
You don't want to see it, right?
Oh my
But it was
God.
so he had just been desensitized to what it was. And he thought the line was, "Well, it's not gory, so let's just show it." I'm like, "Dude, this is not. It's
a 6-year-old out there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a 60. Yeah. Now I'm sure that a couple of my brothers would have been like, "That was awesome."
Yeah.
But we're not showing that at the welcome home party.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Did you guys know Josh is a big Titans fan?
Yeah.
We were texting yesterday during the game.
Yeah. I'm from Massachusetts, so I texted him.
So you're not a Titans fan?
Oh, you're not a Titans
Yeah,
fan.
not a Titans fan.
I thought you were making Will, what the fuck?
I thought he was the way he was texting me.
I just texted, "We should have watched this game together." I'm not sure if you read that. You read that the wrong way.
I did. That is what he said. Hey, and that is what I believe.
I gotta tell you, this might have been. This is gonna sound real arrogant and New England like, but the last couple of years with Brady up there were boring for me. This has been my favorite Patriots year in a long time.
Why is that?
It's
Just because they're
exciting.
without Brady?
It's exciting. It's exciting. I feel like this is got to be one of the Hoodie's best years. Don't coming in, they're in first place. With the Bills team, the Patriots are in first place with Mac Jones. Like, this has got to be first coaching besides that first Super Bowl, right up near the top. And it's exciting for fans because coming in, I did not think this was gonna be the team. And I never knew if Mac Jones was good or if he just had the two best wide receivers in college football that were just wide open every time. I'm just going to throw this in the air and you're going to run under it.
Right. Surrounded by an Alabama team.
Right. So I had no idea. I knew, look, if Hoodie is drafting some dude in the first round and he's quarterback, he likes him. He likes him. Mm-hmm. Maybe he just didn't like Cam that much. But one of the two. And so to see him right now playing the way he's playing, and they got their running game, this reminds me of that first Super Bowl team with the defense, and they're going to run the ball, and they're just not going to let Mac Jones throw interceptions.
Right. They're not going to make a lot of mistakes. They are good for sure. Granted,
yesterday was an
you guys
injury.
beat a very watered down Titans team.
100%.
The boys got to get healthy.
And Tannehill is not Aaron Rodgers. You can't just throw any receiver out there and he's just going to be like, yeah, I can make this work with anyone.
Right.
He need, nothing against him, dude, but he needs a little bit of help.
Like the majority of quarterbacks.
Like the majority of quarterbacks. There's three that don't, right? And so to take every weapon away, like not just one, but everyone, has got to be just brutal.
Right. Oh, no question. I mean, you're playing with backups everywhere. Like, how many guys do we have out?
17 on IR, right?
Right.
We hold the new
turnover.
record.
Yeah, we hold the new record for turnover with different guys on the active roster, right? of
Yeah.
84. Where we at?
It's over
85
that now.
now.
Over.
But yeah, bro. I mean, they just got to get healthy. But it's been interesting for sure, just since Derek's gotten injured, and then they've had you have Julio, you have AJ, you have guys on defense, both starting backers on defense. Like, you just have a lot of injuries right now.
Outside of Derrick Henry, who do you think is the biggest loss for that team that's on the IR right now?
Offense or defense?
Yeah.
I guess I would say defense.
Man, what you think, David Long?
Has to be. Has to be.
It's wild to say after a year, but
I know.
you think David Long probably on defense?
It's noticeable now. He's just fast enough to get to the edge.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
And Bud hadn't been playing either, right? I mean, Bud Dupree. He's
You
a big
saw
loss.
What he did when he was playing.
Yeah.
That defensive line was
Right. When you got all those dudes working, Jeff Simmons, Autry, Harold Landry, Bud Dupree, getting after the quarterback, like the team is definitely, they need a pass rush for sure. Because when they have a pass rush, it's not like their pass defense is all pro, but they're very opportunistic around the ball.
Yeah.
And you only get opportunistic when you have all that pressure in your face.
How many are going to be back healthy for the playoffs? And do they have enough cushion to make it into the playoffs for sure?
I think so. I personally think so. I think with the rest of their schedule, they definitely have that cushion. I think all the guys will be back by playoffs. I think Derrick Henry included. Because he broke his foot, and he didn't like fully break his foot either. Now it's not like a compound fracture. Like he had a very tough stress fracture, big hairline fracture. He had to get a couple screws put in and stuff like that, but it's not like it's a terrible broken bone. And those things take I don't even want to say 6 to 10 weeks, but more like an 8 to 10 week injury.
Oh, this schedule seems kind of nice.
Right. The only tough part is the Niners have been playing well, and so have the Dolphins.
Hey, the Niners.
Dolphins have been starting to play good ball too, so it's going to get. I think it'll get interesting for them, and then obviously they'll play the Texans again for their last regular season game. But I think they'll be getting that revenge game in.
I love how people are sleeping on the Niners
Me too.
because
Bloss is a Niners guy,
because a year and a half ago or 2 years ago they were in the Super Bowl,
right?
and so Jimmy G's back is playing better, and that's a good team, man. Their running game is legit, and running games travel. That's why when Derrick Henry's playing, I'm like, yeah, if you got a good defense in that dude,
Right.
in December, let's go.
Right.
Let's go. Has Julio Jones not been healthy the whole year?
Pretty much. I mean, he's been pretty. It's been his hamstring too, but he's been out a lot. I'd say the biggest loss on offense is what AJ outside of Derek.
Gotta be.
Yeah, AJ are just having a healthy O line week in and week out because we're usually missing somebody.
I gotta tell you, man, I can't imagine playing on either side, either offensive line or defensive line, and ramming my head into some other dude, and then being like, I gotta do that again 30 seconds from now. Damn it! That's it. The first thing I'm gonna do is ram my head into this other dude's head.
Right. I mean, you're 50 pounds?
Yeah. That doesn't make it. Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
You look like a little giant out there, geared up and everything.
Are you telling me I would run across the top of that? Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, 150. I wonder what the lightest dude to ever play professional football is. Outside of a kicker.
So outside of a special teams, like kicker, punter.
Can't be kicker like one of those Martin Grammatica.
I mean, you'd have to look at guys like Tyreek Hill and stuff, right?
Yeah,
But he's got to be 175. He's jacked. Well, how big was Edelman, you think? 185?
Who?
What about Danny Amendola?
I think Tyreek's smaller than that. Yeah. Oh, is Brandon Banks?
Yeah, this is saying, I just Googled the lightest NFL player all the time. They're saying Brandon Banks at 149 pounds.
Originally coming into the NFL at 149 pounds.
Little boy.
So
Brandon Banks was the lightest active player in the league.
I say this every week. Every week. I can't imagine getting hit. First of all, the fact I would be padded up. The fact that nobody's got any shin pads on. Every time I see someone get hit, I'm like, what's going on? That looks like that hurts a lot.
Josh would have the knee pads that sag over the kneecaps.
I would have the neck roll.
Yeah.
I'd have the old school Steve Grogan neck roll. I'd have soccer shin pads on. Are you kidding? Like when I see, because Derrick Henry, everyone's going like a missile into his legs, right?
Oh, you have to.
This dude's got no pads from knee down. From knee, how does that not? You're taking a helmet to the shins, right?
Yeah, but I don't think guys get smoked in the shins a whole lot like with a helmet.
No. What?
Because
happened?
guys aren't just diving head first.
Okay, we'll call it a shoulder pad at 20 miles an hour. I mean, I don't know.
It's round down.
Yeah, I mean, okay, fine. 250 pounds, moving 20 miles an hour, hitting me with a shoulder pad.
You got to think if your cleat is in the ground and you take a shoulder pad to the shin, you're probably going to damage your knee and not really your shin. You know what I mean? And then if your leg is off the ground, it hits. It's just going with.
Yeah, that probably doesn't hurt.
Yeah. I mean,
Tell me the hardest you've ever been hit on a football field.
the hardest I've ever been hit.
Yeah. What'd you say?
He said shit last week. The hardest I would say, where I looked the worst was against Roger Saffold. Oh, you know what? Outside of like getting blindsided and like getting the air knocked out of me or something like that, probably against the New Orleans Saints. I posted a video on this like a year ago too. Going against the New Orleans Saints when I was on the Washington Redskins, I was taking off and tried just throwing my body into this dude. And I mean, I went stiff, like taking a metal bat against a pole, dude.
Really?
I'm talking, I went stiff, and I even tried getting up because as he hit me, and I went like, I went stiff and I was down. He's like, night, night.
Farm?
Huh?
Did he say night, night?
Oh, he goes, so I was running, right? I was running, and I tried taking off and lunging into this dude.
Yeah.
And obviously he smokes me, and the dude's like over 300 pounds, just built like a brick shit house. And I'm like, I like go stiff and down to the ground, and he's like, night, night, motherfucker.
Yo,
And
I get some gangster
I know,
shit.
dude. I tried getting up to like talk shit, but I got up and I was like Bambi, dude, like a new deer coming out of the womb. I started stumbling everywhere, and everybody's like, "Hey, go down, go down." I just couldn't even keep my shit together.
All right, I can ask you a couple questions.
That was probably the hardest. Like I felt like,
Yeah.
running into a body.
Okay, couple questions. What is worse afterwards from people teasing you in the locker room? Going Bambi or staying down? Like, what are they going to tease you about more?
If they're gonna tease you about looking like Bambi because they know that you've gotten up and
Right.
you were like trying at least, so they know it's all kind of like fair game.
And
but if you're just laying there, like when Taylor went out, I don't think anybody's like joking, "Hey, this man's out."
Right.
This man's just laying knocked out.
And is Night Night Motherfucker one of the best shit talkings you've heard? It's concise and to the point. You know exactly. Night Night Motherfucker says it all.
As the play is happening.
Now, I'm going to ask you another question because this, what's your best Night Night Motherfucker? Like, what is the best you've hit somebody, and have you ever had a shit talk moment that even rivals Night Night Motherfucker?
No.
Have you heard anybody say anything better than Night Night Motherfucker?
Not really. None that are so cut and dry.
Yeah,
like
that's
he
right.
did get me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one time I broke a pass up. I've told this on the pod before from Greg Olson, and he's like, "What are you, like third string?" But I broke up the pass. It was PBU. I'm doing the incomplete signal, man.
Wait, do people talk shit about what string you are on the field?
There's an example right there. So wait, I broke up the pass over the middle, and I like did the incomplete thing right in front of him.
Yeah.
And I webbed him like Spider-Man. That's there's some backstory there.
Yeah.
But he goes, "What the fuck are you? What are you, like third string? Who are you?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey man, I work for this spot."
You're like, you know who I am?
Yeah.
I'm the dude who just broke up that pass, motherfucker.
Looking down, just webbing.
Yeah, dude. If that was your move, every time. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna start doing that if a joke works. I'm gonna start webbing.
Just
people.
start. Got him. They all start laughing. Just start webbing the shit up. But as far as like hitting somebody. Maybe who was the little wide receiver for Buffalo?
Cole Beasley?
Cole Beasley?
No, it wasn't Beasley. This was back in probably 2016. He played for the Patriots.
White dude, Wes Welker?
not Wes Welker.
Chris Hogan.
I think it was Hogan.
Oh yeah.
I hit him once pretty good on third and short, but not a lot of like big splash where I'm knocking people out.
Tell me one other question. What have you ever hit anybody and heard him go like make a weird noise?
No,
Or the jazz hands.
Yeah, have anyone ever jazz hand?
no. Love Josh's fascination with all the.
Because I'm fascinated with the human condition. So the human condition is a lot of that is what happens immediately in situations. So in things you can't help, like this.
Right.
You can't help that.
Right.
So I'm always in those situations. I'm always curious how people react. I just love that stuff. Like I'm a strict people watcher at airports, and I just like it, dude. It helps me in my job.
Right.
When I tell stories, if I need to put a character in a story, I'm paying attention, dude. I'm paying attention to things that people do to make it more real. If I need to make somebody up, that person's got to be real.
Right.
So I need to know the way people react. You know?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yo, I bet you for your job, you need to pay attention to that stuff too.
Yeah, no question.
Right? Because you're like, oh, I recognize that, so I know what's going to happen right after that. And that's what it is
Right.
for me too. Like, man, I like it. But funny noises and people getting jacked up, that's just the asshole in me. Like, I like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're definitely always curious about what happens, like in any sport, like people shit talking or
I am.
moves that are made. But
I'm buddies with David Ortiz. And I asked him the same questions. Like, who on first base, who was the best on first base?
right.
What guy was funny and who was talking shit? And to a man, everybody says Sean Casey was. When you get to first base for Sean Casey, he was gonna make you laugh. Like that dude was just straight up funny.
Right.
I like knowing that stuff. Guys like Kevin Millar, like they'll tell you good stories. And for most of us who never get to sniff anywhere close to that level of, and for most of us dudes who wanted to hear those stories and be like, oh, they're just people, and they react the way we react, and they're doing funny
Exactly.
shit. All that stuff.
People would be surprised about how much, like, when people are like, oh, what's the best shit talking, and do people shit talk a lot? People would be surprised about how little it actually goes on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more of like a goofy guy out there on the field.
Right.
Like, if there's something in between plays, or I see another fellow white guy out there, you're like doing jokes with them. You know what I mean? Joking on guys like, oh, hey, yeah, sweet play, man.
Yeah.
Really made your career out here. Like stuff like that.
But that's the good stuff, man. And I used to love when they used to mic up Andrew Luck. And because people would hit him.
Because he would get hit and he would be like, oh, hey, great hit, man.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that. You're
Yeah.
like, this dude is out of his tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, I thought he would come back. Did you not think he would come back?
Just knowing a couple friends who were close to him and went to college with him
Yeah.
at Stanford, they were set that he would stay retired, but there was a part of me that thought he would come back. There's still a part of me I feel like that makes me think he would come back, right?
Why were they so sure? Just because
I don't know, probably his personality, like knowing him, like knowing that his identity wasn't wrapped so much into football, like being
Right.
a football player. Because a lot of it, that's what it is, man. It's your connection with, like, what you identify as. So a lot of guys struggle with leaving, or they want to come back because there's fame that comes with it. There's all these things that make them want to be back in that spotlight or be back in that identity.
Well, I've always said, man, one of the hardest. I remember when people would make fun of Brett Favre for his retiring, and I was like, look, you have no idea what it's like to be called Superman your whole life,
Right.
and then one day nobody gives a shit about you.
Right.
Your whole life, people have been lifting you up, telling you how great you are, gunslinger, you're Superman. You are, when you're a professional athlete, you're these superheroes, for lack of a better word, right? And now one day, like that is gone. I can't imagine how hard that is.
And not to mention when you get replaced by somebody like an Aaron Rodgers, like you see that you were replaceable. I assume that feeds into it that much more.
And where are you getting that adrenaline from? Like
Right.
all that stuff. So I'm that's why I'm fascinated with all of that. Like I can't imagine, especially for guys like Favre. And to me, Favre was a dude who loved playing football, right? But loved the fame as much as he loved
Right.
playing football. And then when he left, people just didn't.
Right. The game goes on without you. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who you
Like
are.
it's sick that you are who you are, but everyone's still wearing the same colored gear the next Sunday and rooting for just different people, man.
And when you're on the sideline, that year, next year to come down. Nobody gives a shit
Right.
that you're there. The game's out here now.
Right. It's like it's cool. They want to take a photo or something, but like you said, the game is going on out there now.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that's like.
Yeah, it's a tough transition for a lot of guys. All right, boys, let's take a minute. We're going to introduce you to some new friends of the boys over at Vincero Collective. If you don't know Vincero yet, they make premium watches, sunnies, and lifestyle accessories out in San Diego, California.
I bet you they got some like these.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a black tie kind of guy or more of a white tee dude. Vincero has a seriously stylish collection of colorway for every look with quality you can feel. Vincero is perfect for your everyday style needs. Check out their bold, newly released Reserve Automatic, perfect for the face of the franchise, or the rugged Rogue if you're more of a grinder in the trenches like the boys. We'll be the first to tell you guys, when you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play great. Did I say all that right?
You did.
When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play great. Vincero gets that, and that's why they're here to help you evaluate,
Elevate.
your look, and up your game on the streets or in the office. And that's what we love most about them. We all get that online shopping can be frustrating. Will this fit? Will this really look like this? Will it be broken in a week? Vincero's 5-year guarantee and 365-day return policy has you covered. Vincero is offering 15% off to our listeners if you go to Vincero collective.com/Bussin and use our code Bussin at checkout. So please support our show and check out the boys over at Vincero Collective.
I'm gonna do that.
Good.
I'm definitely gonna do that. I'm always on the lookout for some cool new shades.
For some stylish stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Why not?
For sure.
Are you like this part, the podcast, and are you kind of approaching this or trying to tackle it the same way you would have getting ready for a season, or like how are you? Do you have any of the same
In
approaches?
ways. Yeah, as far as like putting everything together and like preparing on certain occasions, yeah, there is a lot of carryover. But as far as like seeing a podcast being a game day, like that's not the same. I'd say what I get out of the podcast is that camaraderie part that I know I already miss not playing ball.
Right.
So I get that out of this. But as far as like preparing and taking what I did in football over to the podcasting world, like, yeah, I very much try to use a lot of the same analogies, a lot of the same approaches, like as far as measuring things, writing stuff down, like how you want things to look, like, you know, the camaraderie factor with the guys, like you try and implement and do a lot of stuff because playing football, that's pretty much all I've known. I've learned a lot of good stuff. Like you're in sports, dude, and I've gotten to play in sports this long. Like you learn a lot of, you know, characteristics and things that carry you and help you in the real world. It's just getting over that aspect of, you know, that fame factor being gone, which I do think every guy deals with on some kind of level. For me, like when I talk through it in therapy and everything else, a lot of it has to do and comes back to like being in the locker room and being part of something that's bigger than you, that you're doing with other guys with you, a band of brothers, right? You have all this melting pot of cultures and different people, different colors, different walks of life. And everybody's putting, not that you're putting it aside like there's something there, but you all come together over one common goal, and you're embracing the suck with each other every year, all year round, right? Through training camp, everything else, to go after a championship. There's selfishness in it because everybody wants to get paid. But when you're able to like sacrifice that stuff and you're going through these gritty days with the boys and you're embracing the suck with them, like you're saying jokes in the locker room, you're going through those hot practices, those cold ones at the end of the year, late in the year when you don't want to continue to go in and wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. It's like doing all of that stuff is that common goal that you have with those guys. So when that stuff's gone, it's just, it happens like that. And for a lot of guys, it happens before they're ready to.
Yeah.
Like if I wasn't podcasting, if I wasn't doing all this stuff, would I actually be ready to walk away from football? I don't know that answer. Thank God, like when I'm sitting there through these last couple of years that when I was playing ball, before I started Bussin' with the boys, I'm like consciously thinking that, hey, this is going to end soon, whether I like it or not. Hopefully I play longer, but maybe I won't. It's like, thankfully I started thinking about that stuff. But even then you think about it, it still happens and it still bothers you. So, you know, being able to sit and talk through it with people, therapy, stuff like that, helps you kind of figure out like what your attachments are, what you identify with as a football player, like what you're going to miss the most and how you can kind of transition into the real world with it. So for me with Bussin' with the Boys, I know a lot of my stuff is like camaraderie driven stuff with like other people, go chasing stuff that's like outside of us a little bit more. And I get to scratch that with the podcast because I get to sit down with guys like you, people who are out there in the real world competing. I get to sit down with athletes still and still banter with the boys. Yeah. All the jokes and stuff that I love about the locker room, I still get it out of that. But guys don't have that, man. Like it's tough for dudes to get out of it.
Do you think it's harder or easier? So say for a guy like Favre or Joe Montana, like when you are that guy, do you think it's easier or harder to step away than say somebody who you were like, I'm sure there was people who will never play football again after last year and I don't know who they are and have never heard of them, right?
Right.
Do you think it's easier or harder or it doesn't matter?
I don't think it matters because everybody's got their own, everybody's in their own, like the whole cliche, everybody's in their own movie. Like everyone's in their own life. Like people like Favre and these guys who are the guys can sit and talk about like, you know, I have all this pressure and this stresses and like it's all gone and I want this, but everyone just gets so sucked into what their issues and problems are. They're just different problems, right? It's like the saying that what was it, Alex, that you were telling me, the worst thing that happened to you is the worst thing that happened to me?
The worst thing that's happened to you is the worst thing that's happened to you.
Right.
You can't compare it to somebody else's because you only have your own perspective.
Yeah.
That's right. You can't compare sucks.
Right. Your worst thing is the worst thing for you. My worst thing is the worst thing for me, and that's that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's like, and people listening, like the argument on that side, like having perspective is these NFL players are arguing about which person had the harder go of transitioning out, but they're NFL players, they're millionaires, they're all this stuff. But it's all the same psychological stuff that's happening in the brain, right? Like you're identified with something and something is ending the way you don't want it to. So, it just depends on the guy. Like Andrew Luck, he's that dude, right? But he's somebody who can sit there. If you listen to him, and I don't know him personally, so I don't fully know, but he talks about he wanted to walk away because the way the mental side of everything was taking a toll on him with his injuries and always having to be in the training room and all this and that, and it just wasn't worth it to him anymore. And he could be somebody who just has a perspective that this is not my life. Like I'm going to have, I'm 32 years old. Hopefully, like I've prepared all the way up until since I was in second grade for this life that I've been living in football. And now I got to live, hopefully I get to live until 90. That's double a life outside of what all I've known was, and that was football. So like having the perspective that, hey, this is going to end and there's a whole life to live that has nothing to do with this. And I need to figure out how I let this go and separate myself a little bit. Not because I didn't love it, but because what am I actually loving? And a lot of it is the fame that you get caught up in. But for guys who aren't known about, it's stressful because they want to continue just playing ball and they might not know what else to do. Some guys are still out there still training. They haven't been in the league for 2 years. And they're still like, whether they're going through the Canadian system or the arena system, and they just think like, once I get my opportunity, it's like the Kurt Warner effect. Like he was bagging groceries and got his chance from being in the arena and all this other stuff.
Isn't there a show out?
He's got a movie coming out.
There's a show. So how many people on the roster? 53?
Yes.
So I think they put together a show called The 54th Man or something like that, where they took the last person cut basically from every team and they're putting a team together. And it's a show and they will, an offense and defense. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
They're putting a show together and they're having these dudes just train. And so they'll have a full 11 on either side. And they're like the last person cut from every position, from every team.
Yeah.
Something bananas. I was reading about it. I'll have to send it to you.
Is it a reality show?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a reality show.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff's interesting, dude, because the guys who are the guys, right, and have all of their ways of having to cope with things and stuff that goes on with them in their lives, it's like those guys in a world of a guy who's been on bottom halves of rosters, those guys never partake in worrying about making a team or anything like that. Like the day-to-day of like worrying about how you performed on film and you're up at night and you're trying to study and like, man, maybe I'll get this play again. I wonder if coach thinks this about me. Since I didn't make that play, does that mean they've labeled me that guy for the rest of my career? What are they saying in those meetings? Like you just beat a dead horse assuming all this shit and fearing all this stuff to where you got to go out the next day and perform and be like, man, I hope I did that much better to make the team. cuts come around, you're wondering if you're about to get that phone call or not. Like they're different. They're different lives. So I don't think one's harder than the other. I think it's just ultimately it's all about perspective.
Do you in order to have good chemistry, do you have to like each other? Like in a locker room? Like
No.
And does it matter if you like each other, or does it just matter if you play well together?
I don't think it matters if you like each other as much as it matters on if you respect the teammate next to you. Like you don't have to like everybody you play with, but if you know they have your back and they know they are on top of their shit and you can trust them, I think more so it's about like trust, respecting the guys than it is about liking them. Because there's guys like I wouldn't say I dislike, but I'm not going to go out and have a beer with them or anything else. But if I trust them and they do their shit and I respect the work that they put into it, then it doesn't matter if I like them or not. I appreciate playing with them.
So tell me, out of all the teams you played on in the pros, if you could think of one where you're like, this team underperformed in a way I didn't think, why would it be? What's the reason for that huge disappointment of a season outside of, is it camaraderie? Is
That's
it
a good
chemistry?
question.
Is that a huge, like, does that start to drag a team down if the locker room's just sour?
Oh, absolutely. Or now, which situation are you talking about? To where we underperformed?
Yeah. And does a locker room get sour when you're underperforming?
Yes. So I would say my 2016 year, we had went to the playoffs the year before with Kirk Cousins and the whole "You Like That" when he had that "You Like That" video.
So great.
And we went on. It wasn't necessarily a run either. Like we ended up going like 9-7 and getting into the playoffs. But the next year, we essentially returned everybody,
Right.
and Kirk was now the quarterback over RG3. They parted ways with RG3, and we were about to have Kirk
By the way,
Cousins.
Is that the craziest fall from grace of all time?
It's a wild one for sure.
Is that the quickest and craziest? I saw him commentating in the booth this
I mean,
weekend. I was like,
Vince Young's one too, right? I mean, Johnny Manziel. But was
but
Johnny
he never
Manziel?
had a
He was
good
never.
year.
Yeah, he wasn't
Not
like
in the pros, but I mean,
like Vince Young was like a rookie of the year and went 10-6 right into
Yeah.
the playoffs. Like RG was like the same thing. Yeah, man, wild fall.
Were you on that team with him when he was?
I wasn't on the team where they went to the playoffs and he tore his ACL.
Oh.
I was on the years after. I was there during his downfall and stuff like that. And it was difficult, but being in that organization was the only organization I knew at the time. So a lot of it is like coming from Nebraska and coming from coaches like Coach Bo Pelini and all those guys and seeing how college programs ran. Like it's just different. Politics seem a little bit different in the NFL. And now that I've been on other teams, you see how dysfunctional it was on the Washington football team at the time. But I would say when we returned with Kirk and all these guys and these pieces we had in place for that year after, it might have been 2016, we ended up, I think, 8-7-1 and not making the playoffs. And that was a year that I would have thought like we would have got in the playoffs and done some damage for sure. Like I thought we had a good team going into that next year. But culturally, looking back, you just see things that were dysfunctional about that team. Like you see what guys got away with, whether it came with being at treatment or doing treatment all the time. And a lot of things that equate to like small things. That you just see like this privilege it creates with these guys to where you can't really tell them otherwise or confront them otherwise for being late to something or sitting down during a walkthrough. Like all these little different things and nuances I look back on and I'm like, you can see why we weren't a better team that we should have been. Like we were an underperforming team. You don't realize that until you are around a team like when I was on the Titans. Like seeing the way Vrabel handles a lot of small stuff.
Love him.
But there's pros and cons on every team.
What's that locker room like when you're underperforming?
Blame game. You'll get on. You don't know whether to be the guy because, like I pride myself on being like a smarter player, like knowing stuff that happens, and you get on those buses after the game, and you see the divide start to happen because whether pass rushers would be the guys that talk about it, but guys want to get snaps because, man, why don't they let us just rush forward? Why aren't we blitzing more? Why aren't we doing? They start questioning what the calls are. Like, why are we calling this dumb call? Like, coach had me in this play when they're probably the ones who mess up the fucking play to begin with. Because if all 11 guys are executing the same play, it doesn't matter if you're in the right call or not. You can, as long as you are all on the same page, you can execute. Hopefully, the way you're prepared, you can still win that down. But whether or not guys play well, you see the blame game happening. The guy next to him might agree with him. I might know in my mind we probably shouldn't have been in that call, but is it going to it's not going to help anybody for me to agree with them. I have to play the other side of it just because we can't start dividing that way. We can't start separating like this. You got some guys who are quiet who just don't want to be involved with it, but that's when you start seeing it. And then it'll leak over in the practice. It'll leak over into the next days to where guys are, bullshitting or blaming other things. And depending on what kind of coaching staff you have, like coaches can succumb to the same stuff.
Who's the coach?
At that time, it was Jay Gruden, but I'm talking about position coaches,
Right.
like guys, assistants, all this stuff. Like it's all a collective, man. So it's like you see the divide start happening in moments like that. When you lose and shit hits the fan, you figure out like who you are as an individual and also as a team because you see the way it gets handled. You see the way teams bounce back and know how to stick together and correct the shit that's going on. And you see teams that divide and play the blame game and it just gets dysfunctional that way.
So to me, when you're a leader, coaches and stuff like that, being consistent and having a consistent message is really, and parent too, by the way, is really important, right? And one of the reasons I think Hoodie's so good is he's like, he's never had a team that's underperformed. Maybe, but they're still winning 11 games, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the rules are the rules, and they're consistent, and it's team first. And people get cut unceremoniously. I remember when he got rid of Richard Seymour. I'm like, this is one of the best defensive. What are we doing?
Yeah.
But he's got his rules and the way and what he sticks by and all that stuff. Do you think part of that, like a culture, is the consistency and the one voice and the message and all that stuff? Like what you're talking about is people getting preferential treatment. And I imagine that kind of stuff doesn't go over too well in a locker room when you're like, this dude gets to do whatever he wants.
Right.
And, does that?
Yeah, no, I would say the consistent message is super important. Like that's one thing I know. I haven't been on the Patriots, but playing for Coach Vrabel, who's came from the Patriot organization. That's one thing that is always harped on. Like there's always a team meeting to start the day. There's always clear team keys. There's always a clear vision at all times. Whether it's about the team, whether it's about the offense, whether it's about the defense, like there's always a certain message each and every time. And there's always a foundational message, a foundational why across the board with everything you do. And I think that is super important because whenever you veer off the path, you can always get back on it because everyone knows and it's ingrained in them, like what messages are being preached at all times. The team keys every week might change, but again, you're always starting with something very clear.
Yeah. Always.
And getting that with the Titans, you look back on stuff with Washington and you just realize like there was never a clear starting point or a clear message other than every team who preaches we want to win a championship this year or this falls below our standard. When it's like, what is the standard?
Right.
I think that's what like the organizations like the Patriots, the Titans, those Patriots I just know of through playing with the Titans and talking to guys, but those are organizations that I do feel create that standard and live by that code, right?
I'm trying to think how many, maybe the Steelers fall into that category.
Right, I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's a lot of great coaches out there. I just haven't gotten to play for them, but it's
Who's
like
your favorite guy you ever played for?
Oh shit. Let's go, dude. First ad read for the boys over at Whistle Pig Whiskey. Hey, the boys are with the whiskey. The boys are with the whiskey. That's huge news.
Let's go.
That's huge
Let's
news.
Go.
We think anything
Family Feud.
Yeah, great answer, man. Great answer. We think anything worth doing is worth 100%. And so does Whistle Pig Whiskey. They created the first 100% rye whiskey perfect for sipping and mixing. Piggyback is made with 100% rye whiskey for a bold, full spice flavor. It's bold and spicy, kind of like the boy Josh Wolf over here. Not Taylor, Josh Wolf. It's a bartender's dream, perfect for mixing up cocktails, which if you're anything like the boys, you're all about bringing the good whiskey to a tailgate. Right. At age 6 years and has a high 96.56 proof, sign the boys up. Trust us, it's truly 100% the good stuff, boys. How do you give 100%? Get your own bottle at whistlepigwhiskey.com or at a local retailer. This is awesome. Huge. I'm telling you right now, boys. We're trying.
There it is.
We are trying to sell out for these boys at Whistle Pig because the boys are in with the whiskey now. You guys know we love whiskey. Go pick up your Whistle Pig Piggyback 100% rye, whether you go to retail, whatever. Listen, here's what I want. You get Whistle Pig, you take a photo, and you tag the boys. I want to see you guys with Whistle Pig whiskey.
Are you
Because again,
reposting everybody who tags you?
I'm reposting everybody who tags me. I'm all about the whiskey train, dude. I'm trying to piggyback with everybody out there by reposting them and piggybacking on with all the piggybacking we're doing. So do that. I'm fired up, boys. I'm fired up about this.
Do you want to see him take a shot, or you just want to see him with the bottle?
I'll see him take a shot. I'll take a shot right now. We got one opened up.
You can do college too if you want.
Well, if it's college, Bo Pelini.
Yeah.
There's no question. Dude.
He was a fiery dude.
He was a fiery dude. And you know, that was probably, that's like his con, right? Is like being a fiery dude. The dude like blacks out during games because he wants to win so badly. I don't think he understood at times the damage like you can do on young players losing it like that. Now, a lot of us knew where he was coming from because he wanted it as bad as us, and we always knew it was out of love.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say if he had a con, it would always be in those moments of being fiery. But other than that, dude, as far as standard and preaching just fundamental things and teaching you stuff and carrying over from not being some of the time guy to being an all the time guy and everything he preached, dude. I learned a lot from Coach Bo. I probably learned the most from Coach Bo.
That's awesome.
As far as in the NFL, oh man, doesn't matter if it's a head coach or not.
You can be either position coach or head coach.
Yeah, man, I've had some fun dudes. I would say, as far as like a leader among like men and NFL players, like grown men who have lives outside of it's all business.
Yeah.
Rich Bisaccia from the Raiders. He has the pulse of like a team and a group as much as anybody I've like seen and respect and stuff like that. Man, my favorite linebacker coach, probably Coach KO, Kirk Alvin. He was my first one in Washington.
And what makes for you a good coach? A dude who keeps you engaged?
I don't know. I think
funny.
it depends, man. You got to be able to relate to a lot of different personalities.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be flexible when being with guys. Like I was actually listening to Coach Bo on a podcast not too long ago. I think he was on, was it Walk the Line, the one out of Chicago? Do you guys know the Barstool Chicago podcast? Like is one of their Walk the Line. I know there's a dog walk one too, but I listened to Coach Bo because Bo came on, I want to say in August, and then he was in Chicago not too long ago. But I listened to that just to hear what they were talking about because one of the Eddie had texted me like, "Hey, Coach Bo loves you," so I was like interested to see what he was talking about. But I remember listening to him say like, you know, you could always coach like Will, for example, like Compton. You can ask Compton, like I coached him that way because you could coach him that way and other players would see it. I'm listening to this for the first time thinking, if I had truly fucking known that, I wouldn't have been so fearful around making mistakes sometimes as a player. But like getting in that psyche of a coach saying like, you can coach this guy a certain way because he'll take it the right way in front of other players where other players might shell up. He doesn't know that in his mind, he probably thinks I'm taking it so well, but he didn't know that I'm sitting there like, yeah, I'm eating it. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, am I fucking up? Like, what can I do better? Because sometimes I would be out there playing to not make a mistake. But hearing his perspective, I think that's what makes a good coach, being fluid with a lot of different, being able to teach guys certain things and communicate different messages to different guys, communicating the same message differently to different guys because everybody handles it differently.
I do think though, when you get to the point where your message is making people, when you make somebody scared to make a mistake, I think you've gone down the wrong path because now they're thinking. And so like, and not just for sports, but for anything, like you want people to be present in the moment and feeling free to do what they've learned how to do.
Right.
But when you get people thinking, I better not make a mistake, I feel like that's the 100% wrong place to be. Right.
But you can see like in our little example, with Coach Bo talking about me and the way I thought of it, hearing that message compared to the way he's sitting there talking about the message, you just see that it was just a miscommunication, like a misthought of what happens when that goes down.
Yeah.
To where if you're able to hit on those things between coach, player, you know, parent, kid, stuff like that, like you eliminate a lot of those things because you know, oh, I'm getting coached this way because it's more so an example for other guys, and I shouldn't be reading into it like my psychotic ass is doing in bed at night.
Well, hard not to. I had a
Just watching film over and over, like, man, was it that bad? I thought it was solid, but
I had a baseball coach in college. My baseball coach in college.
Red Line Radio, my fault, boys. Not Walk the Line. It's Red Line Radio. Shout out the boys out in Chicago. That's my mistake.
My college baseball coach. This was Texas, and he was. I don't know if he would say things like this. He talked real slowly. His name was Slim. And we played in San Antonio, Texas, and we were playing against his team one week. And he goes, all right, boys, gather around. Now, this is a different team. We're not used to playing a team with, he goes, and as soon as he pauses, we're all like, oh, no. And he goes, let's just say they got a lot of skill players. And I was like, God. What? He was the most casually racist dude. And we were all like, come on, Slim. Like, he was like, they're skill players. We don't have any skill players. So
we don't have any skill. Just shit on you guys.
Yeah. He would tell us straight up, we don't have any skill players.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking this guy. But not a good coach because his message was all over the place. We had a coach also, Jeff Brown. I could be 100% wrong, but I'm not. He played linebacker with Jack Del Rio at USC. He was also a catcher in the Dodgers farm system when Piazza was there. I believe he was ahead of Piazza, but he got in a car crash. He crushed both of his feet. You know, all those little bones in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up gaining weight and he was an intense dude, but big. And he would meander. This is the best heckle I've ever heard anyone give a coach. He's meander. And by the way, he had benched me. He benched me a lot of times. He didn't like, he was like, there's no room to be funny. I'm like, what do you mean? This is the baseball bench. We're supposed to be funny, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't like me fucking around too much, and I had really long hair, which he hated. Opposing players called me Cher, which was funny. Cause I had this big Jufro sticking out the back of my,
Yeah.
But he was meandering out to the mound one game, and somebody from the other stands stood up and goes, hey, sit down, coach. Your fries aren't ready yet. And I was like, oh no. Because I knew I was going to be the only person who's going to laugh because I had already been benched.
Yeah.
And so I started to laugh. And he came back and he sat down on the bench and he looked down at all of us and he goes, I don't know why you're not laughing. That's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. And I was like, thanks, coach. He was like, not you. I was like, got it. Yeah. He did not like me. But coach, for me, like, he made people scared. Not me, because I was never like, this dude's not like he's going to punch you or anything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
But you could see people, their abilities. It was harder. They were tense. They would go into the box, not shoulders down, but shoulders up. Like they were already thinking about what he might say.
Right.
That's got to be a tough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, if fear is a factor in while you're playing and trying to perform, like you're already at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because you're not playing with freedom. You're not playing with like the belief in yourself. You're not playing with none of that. You're thinking about what it's going to be like if I mess up. Like, what if I strike out? Like, man, I hope I don't strike out. Or, man, if I'm thinking about what my examples is like, man, I hope I don't miss this open field tackle. I hope I don't miss this tackle. And what you grow to learn and understand in like sports psychology and psychology in general is that like thinking all those things, that's what you're going to manifest.
Yeah.
Because you're playing,
That's right.
You're playing scared. You're playing in fear. And instead of playing like, if you do miss it, it happens, forgiving it, moving on to the next play, like having that goldfish memory, as Ted Lasso would say.
We'll see when you're coaching your 6-year-old soccer team.
I know,
Come
man.
on, ladies! Get your asses moving! Yeah.
Damn it!
Come on, ladybugs my ass. Let's go.
No doubt. Take it way too seriously.
Yeah.
For sure.
I had a bunch of those fathers. I coached my kids' baseball teams.
All the dads do, man.
We had one guy show up in those short gym coach shorts all the time. There was one time
He said all the time.
dude, all the time, dude. There was one time he would watch the game from the like the third base side, squatting, like in a catcher's position or one leg up. And one day his kid got hurt on the field, and he ran out to tell him to get up. And I'm out there, and we won't say this. We'll just call him Mr. Jenkins. He was out there and he was squatting down, and he's like, "Come on, you gotta get up. You're fine. You gotta get up." And they're kids. They're 9 years old. And they're gathered around, and I just hear a kid from over my shoulder go, "Mr. Jenkins, your penis is out." And I was like, "Oh."
Just another penis joke.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh."
Penis joke to end the pod.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh no, this isn't a joke. This is real life." That kid is gonna have me. I was like, "Hey, dude, he's right. Yeah,
Yeah. Your penis is out. Your dick's out, man.
The baby bird's out of the nest.
Yeah.
Let's get that."
Just bringing it all the way back around, dude. Let's
Nice,
go,
dude. Nice. Well, buddy,
bro. I appreciate you coming on, man. December 15th. Go look the boy up.
at Zany's, there was rumors that you were gonna do some stand up. Did you guys hear that?
I heard that.
Did you hear the rumors?
I brought it
Streets
up.
are
I told
talking.
him.
There was rumors that he was gonna do some stand up.
I got nervous immediately when you had that. Steve Burns also been trying to get me to come over and do stuff as well.
Yeah, it makes no sense why you wouldn't.
I agree with you. I think it's the fear element that I ultimately need to get over.
Yeah, like what's?
But I do agree with you.
Yeah, the
And
worst thing that's gonna.
I've been writing some subjects down in my notes now to see.
Oh yeah.
I've been dabbling,
Oh,
doodling a little bit.
can't wait to see. I mean, it's got to be a ton of fun because you know what happens on my show. You do stand up for the first time,
I've been to your show, yeah.
right? And then me and Steve Byrne take you in the back room and we rewrite your set and send you back on stage with new jokes.
You guys are out there with me too.
Out there with you.
It's like training wheels, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what you mean. I do agree with you guys. Like it's like you stop being a pussy.
That's it. I mean, I wouldn't say that to your face, but Steve said it. And he called you a pussy.
No, we got to figure something out.
Yeah, we're in.
It seems like it'd be fun. I'm already nervous fucking thinking about it. Because people want us to do like live pods or something. I'm like, man, it's different. Like we're on
Totally
the bus right now. We got the boys. Like it's a different element.
But it's so much fun, man. And then it will open up a part of your brain that you didn't know was there. It just will. It's fight or flight in front of live people.
Right.
It's fight or flight, man. And so
You don't got some go-tos and you're just standing up there sweating. Well, I'm
It is.
I'm out. I'm literally just walking out.
you know
Hey, thank you, everybody.
Kevin Clancy.
Yeah. What?
You know Kevin Clancy.
Oh, yeah.
So
they're doing a live show in April, right?
He's done stand up on my show in New York before. I was like, just come do some stand up. And he was like, he was like, what? I'm like, you're so comfortable talking in front of people. He did great. Like this is all it is. Just think that you're talking to these dudes. 6th grade.
Sometimes
Taylor.
I freeze up with them boys, dude.
Yeah, that's right. And bring one next time. One of these guys will get on. Which one of these guys would be the best comedian?
JP.
I don't know, man.
I'd be better than you.
Oh,
There we go. That's how you get them.
yeah, that is right.
That's how
That
Yeah,
is. He knows what he's
doing.
doing. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. But I've seen him when cameras come on. He freezes a little bit.
Live's better than cameras, I think.
Live is
So
better
you
than cameras?
you think you could stand up?
No. I don't think I can.
Trying to pass the buck already.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really
Oh, so you can do it.
Yeah, he did. He just called you a pussy, and he said I could do it better than you.
Yeah, but he just said he wouldn't do stand up. You guys are both trying to gaslight me.
I'm
right
saying
now.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's
It's more situational funny.
Yeah. That's
Well, I appreciate you coming on, dude.
I'm in.
This is
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
This has been
Appreciate it.
awesome.